Late. Yeah, 'cause if I can beat Walter in, I'm good.
All right, we're going to call our June 3rd, 2024 meeting to order. And if you don't mind, Commissioner Robinson, do you mind leading us in the invocation?
Yes, sir. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for how you have allowed us to be able to tread the waters and to come to dispatch the business of the town on tonight. We pray right now, Father, that everything that is done decent and in order. And we ask and pray that your blessings be upon us and be upon the townspeople. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ready to pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the agenda is to adopt the agenda for June 3rd, 2024 board meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt?
There is.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
I have a first, I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0. Next on the agenda is to adopt the consent agenda, minutes from May 6th and the minutes from May 13th. Do I have a motion to adopt?
There is.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Yes.
I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 4-0. Next on the agenda is comments. I just have a few. I wanted to say that the sidewalk at Community Hardware has been repaired and completed. We still encourage the citizens to use the designated town crosswalks. And I just rode by there on the way here, and with all the rain we had, it looked like it was doing what it was supposed to do. Phase 1 of our street paving project is coming to an end. I, along with the town staff, have heard nothing but positive feedback, and many thanks for moving forward with this project. We've taken the 2011 police department vehicle out of service, and that will be listed on Gov Deals this month with a starting bid of $2,000. I would like to thank the Princeton Church for all the work they did in town on May 19th. Appreciate that. That was really nice. The light pole at the plant, or light poles at the plant, have been moved at no charge, so we're glad I got that done, and thank you, Buddy, for looking after that. And also, the vacant property on South Center Street has been listed for sale. We have no bids at this time. It is listed on the town website and social media, so if anybody would like to make a bid on that, it is there. Does anyone else like to make any comments? Any other commissioners?
I do have just a quick question, and I thought about it and just kind of trying to pay some attention. I know we were trying to cut down on some of the comp time for some of the town employees, but like for brother Mr. Buddy, a major here, I know in these meetings their time still goes on. And my question, I guess, would be that if they're not presenting reports or not necessarily needed in our meetings, is it possible that we could, relieve them and let them go on that way? They're still not racking up comp time.
Well, first of all, I would think that is such a small amount of how they earn it, that and they're basically here. I've always seen it as twofold. That first of all, that they're here if we have questions of them, but having them here also helps them better understand what the direction that the town is going. I mean, because we have to understand that these are the people who are at the top in the departments that they serve. So I mean, that has always been my take on it.
Well, I guess I'm looking at, every little bit that we can save on, let's try to save on it. And then too, we've been accustomed to being here till some late hours at night. But even family time, especially now going into the summer, you have longer daytime. I'm pretty sure they might want to get home and play with the kids or play with the wife or whatever, just maybe sit down and relax. And they work long hours. I'm not saying that we don't, but I think sometimes they work longer hours than we do, especially if they get a call late in the midnight hour and they're up and they're going and they may not get any sleep until the next night. So I'm just trying to, I just want to throw that out, just see how the board felt about it.
I think it's something that we can talk about when we start drilling down into budget numbers. It's probably a good time to talk about it then. I had one comment about while we're up, and I just wanted to say I was riding around the town looking at some of the past drainage we've done over the last couple of years. And we've had a lot of rain this afternoon in a quick period of time. And a couple of years ago, there would have been near overflow at Center Street, over on Pearl Street at Donnie Jones, and everything was full, but it was flowing. It wasn't at capacity, and so I just wanted to report that did.
I think all of us did that same thing.
Yeah, we did pretty good, and yeah, so I did see a couple of things I'd like to bring up at a later point, but I just wanted to say that all the hard work that we've been doing is paying off so far.
Awesome. Anyone else? All right. With that, we'll move forward to public comments. Persons to be heard. I'm going to read the statement, and then if anybody wants to be heard, they can. Public comments is a time that any citizen can address the board on any item that is not on the agenda. Speakers are asked to keep the order and balance, that all public comments will be kept to 3 minutes. We ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address. Speakers shall at all times maintain proper decorum and present all comments in a civil manner. Again, this is a public listening opportunity for the board to listen to public comments and not respond or answer any impromptu questions. Would anybody like to address the board? Okay. Moving forward. Item number 7. We're going to adopt the capital project ordinances for economic development. There was a $315,000 grant that we have received as of Friday. It is in our bank account, and we're basically want to get a motion to adopt this capital project ordinance so we can receive these funds and spend them.
And basically, this establishes a new line item in the budget, right? Is that what we're kind of putting on here? Put the correct line item in the budget?
Yes, sir. Do we have a motion?
What was this grant for?
This
Yep.
is,
Go ahead.
this is for downtown improvement. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a second, but I can jump on down and do that. We'll just go on and go through that. I had a recommendation for some of these funds. We have $315,000, and the town is in dire need of a 10-year capital plan, and is also in need of a parks and recreation master plan. These plans are intended to assist the town in scoring higher in order to obtain future grants. So when we submit, if we have these programs in place, we will actually score higher, and that puts us up on the list to possibly get the grants that we're applying for. The Park and Recreation Master Plan and Capital Improvement Plan are a necessity for future part of grants that could be awarded up to $500,000. We have obtained a quote from for Capital Improvement Plan in the amount of $10,000, and we've also obtained a quote for a Parks and Recreation Master Plan in the amount of $28,000. The cost of these plans has been researched, and this is likely the cost. These plans are a vital part of moving forward for our town. If the board were to approve moving forward with the 2 plans, I would issue a request for the proposals to be checked and make sure the town receives the best pricing available. Other uses for this downtown economic development could be such things as planters, benches, lighting downtown, such as string lighting or something of that nature, wayfinding signs, purchase of vacant property for additional downtown parking. I know that has been brought up before. Open space for gazebos, picnic area, outdoor eating, pretty much anything to do with helping develop the downtown. So that is what it's for.
Now, when you say parks and recs, master plan, what does that pertain?
Well, basically, it kind of outlines what we have, what is around us, and where we're headed in the future. So what we would like to see coming in the future.
Well, now, I wouldn't, when I'm thinking of Parks and Rec, I am not thinking that what we do would be Parks and Rec. That we have a park, but all recreation is normally put on by nonprofits, such as both the football and baseball. Our history and the parks has just been what we have along Hopes Pond Road, that park. So now, are you talking about us going into the Parks and Rec business?
Not at this time, but at some point it might become.
So what it will be used for is applying for a Park grant or other grants that are park and recreation related. You don't have to have a park and rec department. We do have Flores Park. We do have the property downtown with the community building. It could be used for that. It could be used for anything park and rec related. You don't have to have a department per se.
But it could possibly be in the foreseeable future.
That would be up to the board if they would want to take on Parks and Rec and how the Little League handle it. But as far as us, this would pertain to Flores Park and the community building property that we have to use for anything that could be Park and Rec related, updating playground equipment, splash pad, etc. Anything that is Parks and Rec related.
Okay.
And remind me again, was this money that Larry helped get us appropriated this year, or where did this?
This come from assistance with. It was Larry. Okay, it was Larry.
Okay. So this has been this is kind of old news, but we're just getting the money right now.
Yeah.
This has been here a while, right? Okay.
Yeah, I remember getting us,
That's what I was thinking.
getting an email about it. I couldn't remember what it was for.
Gotcha. So tonight we're not trying to establish where the money's going to be spent or anything. We're just trying to put it in the budget, so that it's got a line item, and then we'll decide how to spend it at a later date. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that correct?
That is correct,
Okay.
except that I am asking that we set aside some money to go ahead and get some fresh quotes and present them to the board and to look at this so that we, the town, will have the tools we need going forward to get more grants,
Mm-hmm.
have a better shot at getting the grants.
So are you looking for a motion for that as well tonight, or just
I would like
to
to.
adopt this, because this is just the adoption of?
That is correct. That is the main thing we need to get done, guys, to get it adopted in. But I'd like to also ask the board to consider appropriating $45,000 of that $315 toward the proposals of the capital improvement plan and the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And with that, we would go check our quotes, make sure they're current, and then we'll bring them back before the board to take a look at. And we could even have someone here possibly to present those or talk about what they are, what they would do for us.
Well, I would be in favor of the first motion to accept the funds, But then, before we would move forward with any kind of such plans, I'd like a little more information on exactly what we'd be getting for that money and from the presenter. So-
Yeah, I was, thinking the same thing, that I know that I would like to have some more conversation.
Okay.
And, if we had it tonight, it would probably take more time than what we actually have.
Well, with that being said, is the board okay if we go get the quotes updated and bring them back to you and then have them prepared for the
As long as
next?
there's no cost in it, I think they need to be.
Yeah.
That's been part of our problem over the last 2 years. We've been running off of old quotes and things.
Well, they're about 4 to 6 months old, so we would like to confirm that they're good, see what the contingencies are on, and make sure, because we did not have time to prepare for that tonight, and would love to get this moving forward, because it will take some time to get them, in place. And,
I think once we, get all the data compiled to see what's what, then, I think that at that time would be a great time to decide if we want to move forward with it. Because like you say, if we're jumping into it now, and we don't really know, then you don't wanna put good money to bad waste.
oh, I definitely agree, but we have met with the Parks and Rec, Adrian O'Neill, and talked with him, and he said you've got to have a master plan in order to score to get a part of the grant. Almost always got to have it, because everybody else outperform you. And so, $500,000 on the line, I think it's worth spending a little bit of money to get a good Parks and Rec. But again, I understand, we'll get that information together, we'll bring it and lay it before the board, and then we can make an educated decision.
And I guess it's something that we can look at and say is tangible, that we did look over it, and it really makes sense, because I'm like you, I don't want to lose out on the, $250,000, $500,000, or even $1 million that we can get, so.
And the capital improvement project is basically a 10-year plan. Where do we see the town going in the next 10 years? It tells us about our purchases and where we need to be. And so I think that's very vital with us in budgeting and looking at our vehicles, rolling stock, town, infrastructure, everything, and getting that in place. Okay.
Having said that, I'll make a motion that we adopt the ordinance to receive these funds into our capital projects budget.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Motion passes 4-0. Next on the agenda is the adoption of the street paving ordinance. This is standard housekeeping, basically the same thing. We're making a motion to place it on the ledger, I guess. Is there any discussion or questions on that?
Are we complete? Is the street paving completed?
It's almost, we're almost there. It's very close.
Now, is
One
this
thing
gonna
I've
be-
seen that needs some attention is cleanup.
now, is this
I've seen
phase
quite a
one?
few places that they've left little piles of asphalt around.
At the corner of our street.
Yeah, somebody, they went by there and run up with a mower and blew it all in the road.
Mallard Landscape. Mallard Landscape.
Yeah, so, landscape run that'll have to be done probably by day.
Have we had any update on our tag fee collection?
We do. Yep. Last, the current was $11,970, and we still 2 months, 2.5 months to collect. So, we anticipated it to be around 19,000.
All right, and we're gonna move forward with the next item.
We haven't said that.
Oh, we didn't. Okay. Moving right along. All right, do we have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion, we accept the capital projects, street paving project into our capital fund number 56.
Okay, and do we have a second?
Yes.
Have a second. First and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, motion passes 4-0.
I know which hand it is.
All right.
Now the fun part begins.
Yes, sir. We could only roll through that. All right, next on the agenda is to review the budget for 24-25. Presented before you is the budget for the town of Princeton. The general fund is $416,346 over budget. We reviewed and cut as many budget line items that we can and to still operate a productive and efficient town. The water and sewer budget is balanced and includes a capital reserve of $20,490 after all expenses and depreciation are covered. This includes a water rate increase of $1.12 per 1,000 gallons and a sewer rate increase of $2.98 per 1,000 gallons. Board requested items that are included in this budget to make up that $416,000 overage is $81,264 for a police officer, $55,000 for a police officer vehicle, $71,000 or $70,822 for a finance officer, $15,000 that was budgeted for the library, and $13,930 was budgeted for new trash cans. Total of $236,016. Fund balance is $661,247, and so that's where it's at as of now. The reason for the increases: Johnson County increase on bulk water of 6%, salary adjustments for more competitive and for more competitiveness and promoting retention, increased costs of health care insurance as well as property and liability insurance, increased cost of fuel, increased cost of electrical rates, overall increases in cost of supplies for repairs and maintenance. Our goal moving forward in the fiscal year 24-25 is to keep a tight budget, reducing unexpected expenditures, and still offer a productive and safe life in town.
So if I'm reading this right, even if we took all of these board requested items out, we're still about $180,000 short, correct, for the upcoming year?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 200,000, that is correct.
All right, and, okay. And I don't believe this, we're gonna be able to tax our way out of this based on the $11,000 per cent, because that would be about a 40 cent tax increase to budget this, even this out, and I think that we would all be murdered if we tried to pass that, so,
Yeah.
uh,
I call dibs on the major.
yeah.
I'm gonna pass these out if you don't mind.
And not necessarily by townspeople, but by our spouses and so forth.
Yes, Lord.
Everybody got one? So if you look at this graph, the red line is total expenditures over the years from 2019 to 2025. And there's some things in there that, kind of make it jump around a little bit. Like in 2021, there was a little jump of revenues that come in that gives lets the line bump up, but that was in miscellaneous income. Checked on that today, and it looks like it was maybe the deposit for the new community building from a donor. But anyway, you can see that the expenditures are outrunning the revenue. And if anybody in the audience would like one of these, I've got an extra one here if you can see it. So it kind of gives you a visual of what's going on. And you can see that we've kind of been on a pretty steady plateau. You know, that's increasing houses. This is just the overhead or the tenant account, so to speak. And so this is what's going on. Gives you an idea.
Well, I was looking over, so we're obviously gonna have to try to figure out how to cut something even without all of these things. Like I said, that will be $180,000 in increased revenue that we have to come up with, which would be about a 17 cent tax increase. So there's still gonna have to be some tightening up. It wouldn't be much more than symbolic, but I would be willing to remove our governing body, $6,300. That's equivalent to about half a cent of tax budget. Or as one of these line items, it's half of our trash cans. By the way, with the trash cans, is there a possibility? I remember there was a reason why we needed to get that many. Was it based on shipping costs or?
I did get another quote to come in. I think it's in your, maybe in your packet.
I think we got that together today.
It's in this packet. So I did get another quote for the cans. We had requested 250, and it was $13,930. And I got a quote for half of that for $125. With shipping and everything was $7,305. That's for the purchase of the cans and the freight. They're $58.44 each.
We should have about $3 a can, if I remember.
So that'd be half of that could be cut. And we may not need 125 right now. It depends on how many houses we anticipate in the next year. I think we anticipate 20 new houses possibly, and I think there are some that need replacing that Buddy says broke and cracked. So we might could reduce the 125 in half and maybe order a half of those for this year, and then maybe look at increasing it for next year.
How many do we have at the plant now? Do you reckon?
No,
No.
zero.
No,
How many do you
Yeah.
have that are
Usable, 24 maybe, and that'd be pushing it.
Has there ever been anything to replenish a certain amount of cans every year?
Not that I know of. I know we bought some last year. We put in the budget, and we bought $5,000 worth of cans last year. I can't remember how many total it was. It was maybe 80 cans, I think we ended up getting, 75, 80. And they went out just as quick as they come in to replace other cans that were broke and cracked and stuff. And they try to replace or repair what they can. And some of them they can't. We got plenty of blue recycle cans. I mean, we got hundreds of them. We could use them for normal trash, but can't do what?
Can't we paint them green?
No. Unfortunately, we
Well,
can't.
let me ask you a question. If we have those that are unused, could we maybe sell them back to the company? Or who we got them to? sell
They're
them
already
to?
stamped with our Princeton on them and everything. Yeah, they've already been stamped. So,
Well, I think that's a good starting point. Just cutting that in half is a good starting point.
Yeah.
We need cans.
Yeah.
I know one of mine is.
so you're saying instead of the 125, cutting that in half?
No, I mean, Buddy, does 125 get us through this next year, you think?
They should.
You think 60 would get us through, or we know?
No, sir.
So I think instead of having a budget amendment later on, if we're gonna need that many, we need to get them.
So you said you think we've got 24 now that could go out.
24, they're gonna take some deep cleaning.
And then, I mean, if we ordered 50, you're talking right at 75. You think 75 would get us through the next year?
You think is Pinecroft gonna be open?
I mean, they may have, 10 houses, I think, is what we kind of anticipate by the end of next fiscal year. They're not going to break ground probably till January.
Or what about Mass Hill Road?
It's probably going to be the same thing, probably end of the year, first of the year.
Be conservative, I'll say 75. If I was gonna go with a minimum, it'd be 75 cans. Plus
So
the
you
24 we
might
got
cut that
down there.
125 to, let's say you went to 60, and then 24, that's 84, that would leave you. And I can get another quote on that, but they're probably going to run up to, I would say about $61 to $62 a piece.
And I'm afraid.
So if it went a freight's the same on both orders.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're talking, about $4,000 ballpark.
For 60 more.
I did 60 times, let's say $61, talking $36.60. For shipping in the cans, 4,000. A little bit to 4,000.
That gets 60 more cans.
That'd be 60.
60.
That 60 would be right at about $3,700 is what I come up with.
Good.
So I mean that's something I can get another quote on, but I'm basing that off of $61 each with the shipping. So that'd be 60 plus the 24 would be 84 for next year.
And so now, could we also work on our number that we think that the cans that are actually needed, because we got another budget meeting on the 17th. So can we do some work to make sure that our estimates are
Well, that's what we're trying to figure now is, I mean, we've got 24 that need cleaning, and then if we order 60 more, that gives us 84 for the next year. And we anticipate maybe 10 houses in Pinecroft, maybe 10 in the new subdivision, that's 20, and then replacing some maybe 15.
So now you're estimating that each house would only get one can?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The green, because we got plenty of blue cans.
Yeah, and I don't see, I mean, we don't have many that have a second can. But I mean, even if you do 10 at Pinecroft and 10 at the Potts track, that's 20. And then if we replace 10 or 15 in Tam, you're only talking 30, 35. That still leaves you 30, 35 for the end of the year, rest of the year.
You got the new townhomes out here. Then you got any other townhomes or houses
Yeah.
being built, so,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're probably still covered.
Yeah.
And I think Britton Bottle would want to use our town
That's
cans,
right.
so
Yeah. I would say
that'd be 4 or 5 there.
Yeah.
I would say 60. Let's see, if we did 65, you're talking 39.65. So I would say about $4,000 for about 65 cans.
Mhm.
65 cans. Like I said, last year we ordered, I think it was 80 or 85. It was 49 something. We budgeted 5,000, and we spent like 49.80 last year and bought those cans. But I can get another quote on 65 cans and see what that would be. But I'm thinking it's going to be around $4,000.
And so, moving forward, the 81,264 for budgeted police officers. And so that my question to the board and to the major is, can we actually do without that position?
Well, I'll give you my opinion on it. Just think of what you're paying out now for comp time for us to cover. You basically weigh it out, would that position be cheaper than what you're paying us out right now? I mean, I know me, the chief, and I know one other officer, we've got over 100 hours of comp time each. That's us covering people being out sick, vacation, and just getting called out for other things. You know, and it does make it difficult at times on us. I think having that other officer would not only benefit the town, but it'd take a lot of the load off of the other officers and the chief and myself.
So do you think, so you're saying the comp time now owed is over $136,000?
Over $136,000.
Well, that's how much a police officer in a car would cost. You said it was cheaper to pay comp time, but do this and pay comp time.
I don't have the figures. I'm just saying, if you think about all the comp time that we have, would it be feasible to have another officer? Because you obviously there's a need, or we wouldn't be working all those comp time hours. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
the amount that we were talking about paying out, for the officers, wasn't it $15,000?
It was ballpark $15,000, I think. Might have been a tad less than that, but it was, if we paid everybody out, it was, I think it was 15,000. Trying to see if I had that wrote down somewhere. Alright, I'm showing for the PD with overtime as of, let's say Thursday of last week, is showing the payout would be about $4,500 because they have burned some comp time to get it down. The utilities department would be a little hefty. We've got two guys there that have got to burn some comp time, and I've already talked to them about it, but theirs is a little more. But the PD payout for the comp time, or for overtime, I'm sorry, is $4,500.
And so that we don't have, for the upcoming budget, that we don't have any overtime in, that we don't have any overtime in the budget.
Yes, we do.
What is it under?
I'm trying to find it for you.
You're asking where the overtime's at? If I'm not mistaken, it's just directly under their salaries. Do you have your payroll sheets that we did?
Yeah, good, that.
Should have said, I know we budgeted some overtime there because we knew they were. We're talking about the police department, right?
Is it a part-time employee?
No, we took the
It's
part-timer
gone?
out. Yeah, because they're fully staffed now. So we took the part-timer out. The salaries, let me see, it was 464. No, with this, we did not budget for the overtime because we put the position in, for the full-time position.
So we don't have any overtime budget for the police department. So it was the utility department that we,
So, of the, requested 464,904,
What
part of
page
that.
are on, Mr. Watt, Mr. Martin?
929.
Okay.
So part of that is the 81,264?
Of the requested salary, the 464?
Right.
Correct. That is, part of that is that 81,000 new officer. So if we did away with that, we would need to add for overtime. But our goal is to have this officer and have no overtime. But if we add the officer, we would have to add the overtime.
is that feasible to have no overtime?
No.
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 And if I can explain something, I don't know if I made it clear or not. The issue we're running into with comp time is, say like, I got a lot of comp time. Tell me to take off to burn some of my comp time. Well, whoever takes my place is building comp time. So it's a never winning battle at the part where we're at now.
Well, in my, the thing that I said is, number one, that we would be better off to just go ahead and pay it out as overtime. And the other flip side to whether it's officers or whether it's other staff burning comp time, that's my understanding that if they earn the comp time that they have, that they're in control whenever they actually take it off, because we can't tell them that that they got to burn this time down. Because that's my understanding of the law, but now that I would recommend that the town follow up with legal advice
Well, I'm sorry.
on that point, and that is part of the reason that I brought it up, because we can say that we're going to cut this out of the budget, but can we what I'm saying to the board is, can we actually do that? And can we do it and provide the services that we actually need and want? Because I know that everybody wants 24/7 coverage.
Well, I was gonna say that in our handbook, if I'm not mistaken, it reads that within 30 days, if it's comp time is not burned, that it should be paid for. And we're doing one thing and we have another stated in our policy. So we either need to change our policy, or we need to take care of it.
Mhm. Well, it all comes down to, we have a finite amount of money. So we're kind of, I mean, we'd like to have I'd take 2 or 3 more police officers, it'd be great. But right now, 1 more police officer, 1 more vehicle means a 12.44 cent tax increase. So that's what it means. It means we're going to raise taxes 12 cents, or we're not going to be able to do this, one or the other. So,
And the other thing we gotta look at is we're chasing it right now.
mhm,
We're behind the ball.
mhm.
And we've gotta get out in front of it at some point. And, you know,
I think at some point right now, it's probably be when there are some additional houses built here and our tax base goes up.
Mhm.
or our savings runs out.
Yeah, and, well, my feeling is this budget here,
To what?
Or the general fund runs out.
Yeah, and we can't do that.
no, yeah, we're not doing that. Some years are funner than others when it comes to budget time. This is not one of those fun years. And, but I do think that, there's gonna have some hard decisions that are made before June 30th, and I'm not kicking the ball down the field till next year, but next year is a reevaluation. Next year, we're gonna have more homes. Next year, it's gonna be a whole different ballgame. And so, I'm not gonna be willing to have this giant tax increase to, I mean, this is gonna be a tough year, I think. We're gonna just have to make hard choices, and not everybody's gonna get everything that we all want.
And I think also we're basing a lot of this off of what has happened in the previous 10 months.
Mhm.
But we've had a lot of repairs, a lot of things happen that we're hoping we don't have next year. So hopefully we just, like I said, buckle down, tighten our pocketbooks up a little bit. We get through this year and then, like I said, we'll reevaluate it for next year.
Well, I will repoint you to your graph that you have in front of you, because that's not what it's saying. It's saying inflation is out of control, and revenue is not keeping up with it. And you can see it over the past 1,
No,
2,
but you can
3.
see that it is starting to catch up.
Well, look at the last 2. The one that drops down is our budget, and we leaned her down already. And so that's pretty much where it's at. And,
Only thing I can say at this point, it doesn't look like any of this wish list is probably gonna come.
I didn't have that in there.
Well, I'm not sure that the budgeted police officer, whether or not that's wish list or the cost of doing business.
Well,
I mean,
I think the comp time could be paid out and be a whole lot cheaper than $100,000 just for the police department. I think comp time could probably be worked in so, because, I know everybody wants 24/7 coverage.
Mhm.
You may not always get it. Also, you got a chief that's here every day, Monday through Friday. Somebody needs to burn comp time, they need to burn it Monday through Friday, so he's here to cover. You still have coverage. Nothing says you have to have 2 police officers. You got the summertime coming on, we got 2 SRO officers that are fixing to come available. Let them help burn up some of the comp time.
well,
There's other options other than just
They're
hiring a
gonna be
police
in,
officer.
well, they're gonna be in class for 6 weeks,
yeah,
starting the end of June through July
Summer's 3 months long.
for SRO,
So are we saying that these board requested items are not in the budget? They are.
They were in the 416.
Yeah,
They were
the
going to
416.
180.
Right,
They're
right.
not in that
I
180.
know that, yeah.
Except, yeah, they are not in the 180.
And that's what I say, this list probably is gonna be very hard to swallow. We already got enough to worry about swallowing 180.
Mhm. Right.
But this last dot is the budget on this graph, and yeah, we tapered her back down, but we took out all the wishes. That's running lean, and that's with nothing extra. So we've got a deficit right there of $200,000.
but the thing that I'm saying is regardless on with the 81,264, because you can't say, even if we do not give them an officer, your savings is not gonna be 81,264 because you don't have any overtime budgeted in, which is the same.
Oh, I agree. You're not gonna gain all of this, but you should gain a pretty good portion. Plus, in there also, you got a car in your budget.
Yeah.
That's 55,000.
That was taken out. It was in the 416, but we
Right.
already removed it.
Yeah, and so that's, probably not gonna come about.
Finance officer was taken out. We lingered back down.
So this spreadsheet has these things in it or not?
It doesn't, it does have it.
It does, okay, that's what. So, are we proposing a 16.5% tax increase then?
Put it out for the board. I'm in uncharted waters.
Because if you take all of this out, that's still a 16.5% tax increase.
All I'm saying is, we don't have the revenue to cover our expenses. And as a businessman, when you look at that, I'd be scared to death if you don't increase revenue.
Yep. Fun times.
Well,
But it's gonna
and
be some both.
the things that we have to look at is that we try to be competitive as far as staffing is concerned. And you can't have turnover. Turnover is very expensive, and that with a lot of turnover, that makes it very difficult for us to do the necessary things that we need to do.
What's our tax rate right now?
Right now, it's 61. It's 51, 10 cents is fire. It's fixing to go to 65. And there's a sheet.
So add 16 whatever to it. What's that make taxes on a $150,000 house?
That would go to 79. right?
Yeah, we had the picture. But I put, there's a graph that I did. If you did, it's $10,926 for every penny. So if you did, what'd you say, 16 cents? That would be $174,816.
Yeah, what does that do to the homeowner? I'm not worried about what you're doing.
Hold on.
You said $150,000 house?
Yeah, we figured the other day it was $300 a year total, something like that. It wasn't much.
It's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it won't.
It's probably ain't enough, but it's, it's hard. $240 on $150,000. Does that sound right?
So is that more or?
More, that's added.
If you take your taxes, if you owned a $150,000 house, you take your taxes and it would raise it to $240 on the county side. And you still got the county side.
Yeah, the county's gonna go next year.
Now, in your 16, were you proposing the 4% for the fire tax? Because that's gonna be added on also.
That's a no-brainer. We have to do that, because
Yes,
this is
I know.
our contract with the fire department. We have to do it. It's that or we lose contract with the fire department for fire protection.
And
So what you're really looking at is it was a 16 cent, you're looking at a 20 cent increase.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. I'm going to tell you right now, if we raise the tax to 20 cents, none of us will have to worry about working here.
but you have to have a budget, for the upcoming year, and the budget that we have has to be a, that the budget that we put forth should represent a true cost of what it costs us to do business. And so for us to say that this is not gonna happen, that is not gonna happen, that we're gonna have to do whatever is necessary, because if our budget is up here where this is, because we're, if we want to bring it down, because we got to find some place to cut, and my question to the board is, what are we able to cut? Because that's a whole bunch of cutting.
You can cut it, but we ain't gonna make it. I mean, we can't survive. I mean, we've looked at it. We beat it to death. You got insurance costs that have gone up. I mean, it is all risen. This is inflation. It's catching up with us. If the readjustment would have been this year, it would have certainly helped us, but it would not have gotten us out of trouble. But it would have certainly got us close. The reevaluation and the fire tax should have been 1 year. If everything would have happened next year, it's just a year early.
And so let's say that the police officer is out, the police car is out, the finance officer is out. So now let me ask this question on the finance officer. Obviously that it's going to be out, but do we have funds in the budget to help us to hire Mrs. Ashworth to help us to keep our books budget?
We budgeted $20,000 for that. I think you guys a couple months ago had said about 40, but we talked with her and spent about 60 hours the last probably week and a half on the budget and everything. We feel like next year we could cut that down to about 20,000. I forget how many hours it was, but we feel pretty good about that.
Which
Yeah,
line
that's
item is that?
correct, okay.
Which
That was
line?
under contract services. I don't remember all these lines like Marla does. She could tell you the number probably right now.
Say it's on the contract services.
Yeah, it's
I got two of them.
consultant services, I believe, 420, 4,600. Is that correct, Mark?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
It's what page you on?
H2, excuse me, 5,
Says 420,
46.
Okay.
Third line.
4,500.
Yeah, third line item
We've
down.
got 20,000 budgeted.
Right here,
Yes, sir, that's it.
consulting services. Okay. All right.
We're gonna shoot for that. We think we can do it in that. You're just gonna have to monitor it, knowing that audit is gonna take a little extra, and budgeting is gonna take a little extra. But we've, Michael and myself have been through the whole process. He's done the work beside her, and I've watched and questioned and questioned some more and watched some more, and we feel like we can probably get it done with that, but we're gonna have to pay attention. to our budget numbers.
So with the 20 allocated, do y'all feel comfortable enough that should do it, and if it doesn't do it, that it's not gonna be a crazy figure?
We don't, we are, hoping to stay under 20,000. That is our goal. I think, like the mayor said, we spent, some long 13, 14-hour days last week with Marla, going through everything. April is, very knowledgeable of the way Marla did it, doing it for those years and stuff, and so our goal is to definitely stay under that 20,000.
And some of this budgeting process was kind of correcting from last year, figuring out what they had done. We've removed some of those line items, have tried to get things cleaned up so that going forward, we understand it. I'm by no means an expert. I'm learning and I'm asking questions, and I'm part of the reason, you know, she's spending some time with us because I'm asking questions.
That 20,000 gives us 4 weeks and 2 days in the next budget year. We feel like that should be pretty good amount of time, ample amount of time.
And so now, is that 70,822 for the finance officer, is that in here somewhere?
That's in the salaries, yes, that's budgeted. That was split between 2 departments, between the general fund and the water sewer fund. It's split between the clerk's salary in both departments, the finance was. Because we have, a lot of positions are 50-50 split or
Right.
25-75 split, but we split that one.
So our previous year budget had 0 budget for that, and then this year's 45,000.
Which line, you know?
On, back to the consultant services. And we're currently at 31,000. Are we gonna anticipate using that entire 45 in this budget?
That was 22. You're looking at the wrong year.
Let's see.
Well, the current actual
Current
is,
budget,
current actual is 31,029, that's what we spent.
Okay,
Yep. The PY is previous year, and then we,
But we got this last 2 weeks, and then whatever she had for that we haven't been billed for this
Yes.
coming in,
Yeah.
so that's why
So
we
we
have
had-
funded 45. We think we can bring it in under that, but,
Yeah.
okay.
depends on how much more budget work.
We don't anticipate
amendments we
having
have
any,
to do.
that's what I was saying, we're at 31 now, we had 45 budgeted, but we anticipate using most of that 45.
We're gonna use a good chunk of it. But
Okay.
we'll know more here in the next few weeks as we get the, bills in TRC. Is that
So-
correct?
So 2 lines above that, we have checking service charge,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed that has gone down, but like, how does that go down? Like,
Bank fees.
no, but
Yeah.
how do we anticipate going down $7,500 from this year? How do our bank fees drop that much?
I'll take it. Credit card. We dropped it in COVID, so we're absorbing all that expense. We're going, somebody uses a credit card, they're gonna pay it 4%.
Okay,
We don't gain anything off that.
Okay.
But it don't cost us anything.
gotcha, so we're gonna pass the
We're gonna
credit
pass
card
it on
fees
to the
along?
customer.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then, we're also talking to our banks and looking at, other areas there where we can save. And we found a couple of little things we're working on, and Michael's trying to get those straightened out also.
So that'd be something that when we adopt the budget, that we'll just have to make a note on that. I'm guessing the board made a motion or voted to waive those fees when COVID hit, and so we'll have to just re-implement that.
What fees on the credit cards?
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
Probably so. No, you were probably not on the board.
Margaret, do you remember anything about that?
It was on the online payments. It's not like all credit card payments, but if you use the service that the town has to do online payments,
Yeah,
there's
Express Pay.
there's a fee. And during COVID, they reduced the fee, and the town decided to, I think just like, it was either a quarter or 75 cents, I can't remember, but it was pretty low. That they have re-implemented that fee, and the town never did.
So we're gonna have a
It's-
4%.
that was I think it was 25
4%
cents
fee for
is what it
having a
was.
credit card?
Yes,
On the
but we won't see
website
any of
now,
that.
like
There's
when I
no
pull it
income
up,
from that.
Right.
It's 50 cents now. When it comes up in that column, I see a lot.
I will say, since I know and nobody else probably does, that your collections through the online portal increased during COVID, and a lot of people kept doing it. So if you re-implement that fee, you might be putting more work in the office, but. Thank you.
Do you, and we're thinking $7,500, you think we'll recoup that much?
We spent a lot of time on this in the budget, and where you can save on your bank service charges for your regular checking and having this fee be passed on to the customer instead of the town paying it. Between the two, we think that you won't pay any more than $10,000 in fees. It could be less,
Okay.
depending on what choices are made and how they all play out.
but I will say it is a guess.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a conservative guess, because I was calculating it when we were talking about it, and I truly believe it could be less. I don't know how much less, but if they make the changes we were talking about that day, that I don't think it'd be more than 10.
And I did go meet with Brian at Truist last week, and there are a lot of things that we would have been charged for, small things in-house that he can waive, but he had to pass it on to the higher-ups to see where we could actually save. And we reviewed that email, but we hadn't had time to break it down and everything yet, so there could be some more options.
Okay, yeah, it'd be good, because I know I collect credit cards, and I can just, a couple clicks, I can see exactly how much transaction fees I paid last year, so we should be able to get an exact number on that. Not really, shouldn't be too much of a guess on that one.
Sorry about that.
And so the next line under that is the 15,000 for the library. And that was I think the amount that we negotiated on last meeting, and we said that that's what we would give. Is the board still with the same mindset?
I think that's what we said we would budget, but we didn't until we had these numbers in front of us. I don't think we agreed to give it at that time.
But all of these other line items are brand new line items that didn't exist. That one did exist, but it was 11,900 in all previous years.
10,000.
10-9.
Yeah, 10,000.
10,900, okay.
Yep.
So,
And we do not have a rental agreement per se with the library. We're assuming all costs for electrical, water, sewer that's used. They do pay for their Wi-Fi. But other than that, we're assuming the cost, and the electricity probably is about $800 to $1,000 more for them. We anticipate for a year. So you would look at 15 plus water, sewer, and then of course the electrical, another 1,000. So you're looking maybe closer to 16.
well, without that number or something pretty close to it, the library goes away. So we decided to cut that out. We're eliminating the library.
Well, I think they can still operate. The reason the increase was requested was they just want to have more hours, you know. I think we talked about it last month, but if I remember, I think they're open, was it 14 hours now? And I think she's wanting to add 10 hours a week to 24 to get some more help. So a good chunk of that was opening more hours.
And remember, she was requesting right at 20,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was, yeah, the 20 would have given her the 24 hours, right?
20 would give her 24.
Yeah, so in order to give her 15, so she's not gonna get the hours that she was
Yeah,
wanting.
but I mean, it's not closing them down. It's still letting them operate. It's just not to where they can stay open like they want.
I'm saying eliminate the 15,000, we're closing down.
If you were to eliminate it,
That's what I'm saying.
the whole thing.
That's right.
Correct, yes. And they're trying, like I said, I think they're still trying to charter with the county so they can get funding through that, but I think they still got some more hurdles to go through on that process.
So does the board want to leave that 15,000 as is? For now?
I'd say for now. I mean, I wouldn't have gone for now. Even if we dropped it back to the original 10.9, then we're still only looking at $4,100 there, which at this point is important, but
That's a $0.50, roughly.
yeah. I mean, it's something. It's not nothing, that's for sure.
I personally think we need to at least drop it back to where it was, but.
I agree. Because even in this budget, they might, I understand wanting to get more help, have more hours, to be open a little bit longer, but, I mean, right now, we just can't afford to do it. And then, we're not, really recouping anything. It's no rent, no nothing, we have a library. I know it sounds kind of rough, but we just have a library. And then not being funded. Once again, like I stated earlier, the comp time, being able to cut down on the comp time, not necessarily having the guys here if they don't need to be.
Well, and the police officers, normally, it's a good idea to, when we have a board meeting, that the police officer is gonna be the guard.
But they don't have to stay the whole time. I mean, we don't have a major crowd here, so, I mean, we really, in my eyes, we really, maybe don't really need to stay. I don't think anybody in here is gonna get rowdy and start throwing chairs and stuff.
Well, it will be my recommendation that if you have a town board meeting, that law enforcement stay.
And I understand that, but once again, like I say, if we don't have a large population of people, I don't see having them to stay the whole time.
Well, if it's a happy medium, you got one on duty.
Yeah.
Have him sit.
Well,
And then, like I say, just like with Buddy, he could be at the house, he get a call, he's got to come back out. If he can't get nobody else to come back out, but 9 times out of 10, him being the supervisor, he's gonna come to see what the problem is. So we still adding more money onto him, putting more time into him. When at the end of the day, we could save him for, emergency situation.
How about we put a number on what that savings would be, and that in 2 weeks we'll have something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
that's gonna save us $500 or if it's gonna save us 5,000, then we can, at the budget meeting. I mean, I think it's worth talking about it, but right now, we don't know how much it costs
And
us really.
and I got it here for the overtime pay, like I said, the PD overtime pay we got in here for the payroll was $4,492. And then the overtime pay for, Public Works was, a lot more, it was $24,000.
Is that, and that's for next year's budget
Mhm.
for any payouts or whatever we have to do?
If we were to pay them out, but Buddy and Brian have been told to burn as much as they can by June 30th, try to go ahead and use a lot. And I know he's off a couple, or almost a week, and about 2 weeks he's taking off. Brian's
Next
trying to
week,
do the
this
same
next
thing. Do what?
He's next week.
Yeah, yeah. And the reason their comp time is they've been
Repairs.
short-staffed.
Doing this repairs too, they had a lot of time out there working on the water line, but.
Yeah, I mean, they've just been short-staffed, and unfortunately Brian and Buddy are the only ones that knew how to do everything, lift stations and all, but with the guys they got now, they really trained them and worked hard with them to get them to where they can start doing it on their own. So, so if you did pay them out in the first week or two of July, you could pay them all out, and then they could start over with the comp, or you could pay them down to 40 hours. I know some of them want to try to keep some, you know, for taking off here and there or whatever. But we do have it in the salaries.
No, sir, our planning and zoning salary's going down a little bit. Is that just gonna work less or?
It's, yeah. I mean, he's averaging 14, 16 hours a week, and so that's what we anticipated it on again for next year. He's been more involved full-time ministry in Pine Level, and so his hours, he's cut his own hours out, so to speak. So we kind of anticipate that on about the same time that he's done this year. So I think he was like 13,000 this year is what we paid out so far, and we kind of anticipated around the same thing, about 15 grand, I think is what it was, what we budgeted. 14,998 actually, yeah. And I can't remember, that was 675 hours, 695 hours, something like that.
That thing's right.
For next year, which averages out to like 16 a week. And I can say he has done a good job helping us get the ordinances updated and permitting, collection on a lot of the new construction and things like that. So I think you can see the zoning permits are up as well.
And now, under administration for the town administrator, that the amount requested is 82,250?
That includes cost of living, insurance, that includes cost of living raise for next year, or for the next budget. All the cost of livings that were mentioned last month are included in everybody's pay. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 of the 17 full-time employees that are eligible for cost of living.
So in the police department, we have a salaries line,
Mhm.
but I don't see such a line in administration.
Which,
So do we just, so that we don't break them apart in the police like we do in the
no, it was set up like that way. Marlon, you have a reason why the PD salaries are in one line? Is that
No,
just,
other than that's how they were when I got here.
yeah. And that's how they were when I got here.
Trickle down.
So,
And I think it's because PD is all paid out as the general and the other ones are split.
so what I would like if part of that salary is for overtime or whatever, I kinda wish it was added on, the amount that we approved for overtime or whatever, that it had its own line. And instead of just added.
Well, what we budgeted for overtime was for you talking PD?
Right.
It was 120 hours is what we budgeted for.
Well, we can break that out in a
So
separate
we
line
can-
item.
but we
That would be
can-
no problem.
April probably know the best. I don't know if
Yeah.
if you can expense overtime separate from regular time in the payroll program, because that's how it gets posted. So
You wanna explain?
if they, instead of having a salary, all the police department salaries including overtime in one line, on one general ledger line, if you made a separate general ledger line for overtime, can you set up the payroll program to divide it out between regular and overtime?
Mm-hmm.
So that way
Okay.
you'd have a overtime line and it would show what you budgeted and what was expensed.
But you're saying keep them all together. You're saying keep all the salaries together and have all the overtime together?
You're talking about adding another line just for overtime?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And break it out of salaries?
Gotcha.
I just wanna point out something. So unless you pay it as overtime, it's not gonna charge to that line. If you convert it to comp time and then it's paid out, it's gonna pay out of the regular line. Because once you convert it to comp time, it goes back to the regular hourly rate, not time and a half.
But what I've suggested that they do is to pay them the overtime instead of doing the comp time. Because, comp time just causes a lot of problems, and it ends up being money owed that you really are not really looking at, and that dollar amount can really get real high real quick.
Well, I think that's why we need to go back to our policy, if that's
Yeah.
what it is, and call our policy. And then, or change our policy, if that's what we want to do.
On the town administrator salary, that one is 100% general fund, or does?
25.75.
Well, it's supposed to be 25.75, but evidently there was a glitch in the spreadsheet because it's all in general fund, because I just calculated it. But I hadn't figured out how much it would save you if we split it.
'Cause I was gonna
But
say
I
that
can tell you in
was,
just a minute though.
that was, it's only 75, that puts the town administrator salary at about $110,000.
What's the question?
If this is on, oh.
I saw it when
page
you,
4 of
I saw
nine.
it when you asked about it, that was the full
82,
salary.
250.
Uh-huh.
If that's only 75%, where's the other 25%?
So that's $20,562
You should be
that you can transfer to the general fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
Transfer out of the general fund to water and
To
sewer.
water.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
which would take up your little bit of reserve, but
Mhm.
it would give that much breathing room to your
But it
general
would
fund.
pretty much make it wash.
Mhm.
And are any of the other salaries the same way?
Not that I can tell, but, it's on a separate sheet than what I have, but I knew that one for sure was 100%.
Mhm.
And I know that the numbers we punched in were correct because we tied them back to, from one spreadsheet to the other, so the totals matched up. So this one just didn't get divided, as near as I can tell. The best case scenario would be that there's actually 25% already in the general fund, and, so you truly have $20,000 to spend somewhere that you didn't think you had.
Okay,
Found.
so found, yeah, $20,000. Okay.
I'll see if I can figure it out, just what a pencil is.
Assistant clerk, is requested as half of what it was last year. Is that,
Well, split too.
so this past year was not split?
No, it's not split this past year.
That's how Nancy set it up. Yeah.
Okay,
She had it set up to where we basically paid it and then reimbursed ourselves from the water sewer fund, and that's where we kind of got all thrown off.
okay. Is the town clerk, is it accurate?
That is, and that also includes the finance. So you would probably take half of that, 52,
Mm-hmm.
and then half from the water and sewer, which would give you April's salary. And then eliminate the other half,
Mm-hmm.
because that would be the finance.
Finance was built into the town clerk?
So that-
Finance was built into the town clerk? Is that what you're saying?
we just put it in there for budgeting.
Now, was the finance built into, it wasn't built into the town administrator, right? It was built
No.
into.
Yeah, we put it on the town, with
Yeah.
the town
It
clerk.
was with the clerk.
Okay.
We didn't create a new line item for a position we were pretty sure wasn't gonna apply.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we.
So if you took, so that would actually be like 26,383.
Gotcha.
That one would be.
Is that a 50-50 position?
That is, yeah.
Okay.
So that'd be like 26,383,
Gotcha.
and that would give you basically April's salary.
Okay. So we just had to find another $160,000 now.
Keep looking.
Well, you reduced the, did you cut the trash cans?
Yeah.
You did do that?
Actually, not the whole amount, no. Not the whole amount, so 164,000. Take a break. All right, I make a motion now.
What did you just say?
I was just had an out of mind, out of body experience. Yeah.
Out of your mind.
That's what I said, out of mind, out of my body.
You look right there at line 420, 600,
Mhm.
17,
Yeah.
$7,000 increase in road commissioners. We got that just all over the place, this budget.
Which line?
40, page 420, 0600. If you look at the prior year budget was almost 11,000, and it's 17 and some change.
Yeah.
Just,
Our current budget's 22,872,
we adjusted for the insurance this year.
Yeah.
but it's gonna be less next year?
Yeah, insurance, that went down.
That one went down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would, Crawford Henderson did go down a little bit. Which means the next year it'll probably go back up.
Mhm.
And then the electricity, through the town, that did go up some.
explanation of that? Was it just a simple rate increase, or was it?
Well, we added the light on the corner of Pearl and Donnie Jones. We added one light there. I think we added another one, but we went through all the Progress Energy invoices for the last year, and it was just pretty average. There were a couple spikes, just depending on what time of year it was.
Equipment purchases on 10/4/20, 5,000. It's going from 3,300 to 0.
10, where you at now?
10/4/20, 5,000.
Page 5.
Page 5. It's going from 3342 to 0.
We don't know anything that you need to purchase for town hall.
Yeah, we can't, yeah. We,
Was that the phone system, or what was that?
5,000.
3342.
No, that was,
Is that the copy?
let me think. I know it wasn't the phones. I don't think it was the phones. It might have been the copier. Or we switched over to the other one. You remember what the equipment purchase was we did?
I'm sitting there thinking about
I can't remember either.
I just don't want us to have 0 in there. I mean, I know, like, you have to, things come up, and we didn't budget
Yeah.
anything.
it. It's not one item. It's these pads, 2 cameras, printers.
Just office miscellaneous.
Was it like the cameras for the meetings or anything like that?
We did update the microphones and the recorder and everything, because the one we had, I think, died on us. Then we got cameras. I think Brad had a camera for taking pictures outside at sites and everything. I can't log in because I'm logged in at my desk.
We probably do need to budget on something.
So how much you want to add on that one?
Right.
$2,500?
No, we have one sitting
I think 1,000 or 1,500.
Oh, yeah, 1,000, 1,500. I mean, something's gonna come up.
Okay.
It's all good.
If we don't use it, we don't use it, but
Yeah.
Let's put it at 1,500. That's all right.
So, also, on page 5, the debt service interest. So we're only requesting, 5,856, that's about $1,000 drop. So is there a reason we think it's gonna drop $1,000?
We, and I'm gonna try to answer this and then let my two backers here help me out. We have a loan sheet and we go through and we put all that in. And it tells us on our loans where it is, and then we just take those numbers and pull it off of that loan sheet and put it into this budget. And I don't know why it's decreasing. I don't have that loan sheet, but do you know, Michael?
Yeah.
If it's interest, it could be due to the amount of loan decreasing.
yeah, I'm sure the principal's going down, but
Yeah.
what would we be owing money in this category for?
10/5, 10, 28, 101, 25, 321.
Well, it must be something we're making a $30,000 payment on.
That's a town hall payment.
So that's what it is then, our
Yeah.
debt's going down each
Yeah,
year.
that's the town hall payment. Yep, that's the interest on it.
What makes you see that it's
The
30,000?
line right above it is our debt service,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah, that's the
30,000
amount.
budgeted,
That's the
30,000
all the way across.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was, we owed 240, annual payment is 30, and then the 24-25 interest payment is the $5,856. Which owes 7 years on it. The total payment is $35,856.
And we refinance that.
Yeah, we got that best rate we're gonna get.
Yeah, that's at 2.44%.
Mhm.
And on that same page at 10-427-400 capital outlay, that there's a zero request for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no capital projects we can think of that we need for or capital outlay that we need for town hall. So no big expenditures.
Okay. So, on that same page, the insurance and property and liability, the previous year that we spent 71,000. In the current budget is 39, and we got 49 requested.
And that's an accurate number based off the estimate the insurance company gave me the other day. The 39.
So that's, property and,
Liability.
Mm-hmm. It's about $10,000 increase.
wow.
Yeah, that's a right to the penny number they gave me.
Moving on to page 8, planning and zoning. Just for conversation here, we're talking about hard cuts. Is that a position we can't live without?
Page 8,
Mm-hmm.
part-time?
Yep. Requested 16,484.
I don't think so. I think he can make that money up and pay his salary.
What do you say?
I'm
Oh,
saying-
he'll make,
I'm saying he can make the money for the town.
I see.
And with fines and whatever, zoning permits, everything that he's doing.
okay.
So is that
Well, look, if he got fines, those wouldn't come to us, would they?
Really? He issue a
You talking
pocket ticket.
Zoning, talking about zoning fines?
Uh-huh,
Yeah, they would come to us. They pay those here.
okay. But in these previous years, have we seen that he has found a lot of violations and
We're working on it. We don't have a lot of backbone in some of the verbiage in the ordinances, but that's what we've been trying to update. So we feel like maybe by the end of the summer, we'll have everything updated to where we have support in the ordinance to hit up these violations and then start finding them. We've talked about it with Bob and everything, and it's kind of vague on some of the stuff, but hopefully by the end of the summer, we'll have everything updated to where we need it to kind of enforce some of the issues.
So now, would it be that the, people say, hey, that they're hard up for money and that, and they'll attack you for anything?
I say we're trying to just keep the town clean, just trying to clean it up in some areas that need to be addressed.
Well, there's a lot of things he's
Yeah.
addressing that we would have to outsource if he wasn't here. And so he's getting stuff together, but it's cleaning the town now.
Yeah.
You haven't seen a lot of those effects yet, but it's a part-time position. And we get a lot for our money there.
Do we have a revenue line item that reflects that?
The zoning permits.
Or is that?
First sheet one in that.
355,000.
What page?
Page 1, it's the 5th line from the bottom. And to date, $7,440 in zoning permits have been collected. And that don't count the water and sewer capacity fees as well.
So, now, let me ask on that too. So, in previous years, it was at 3,000 and, currently we budgeted 7,600.
They're requesting
Mhm.
10,000.
And next year, we're requesting, well, this is a revenue.
Anticipating 10,000.
Yeah, anticipating it. And we broke it down with the developers that are building next year. And we anticipate the number of homes with permits from driveway to zoning, site plan, whatever. And we're anticipating about $10,000 in revenue on those.
Okay.
We're hoping it's more, but we anticipate it
At least.
10, yeah.
Now the board member, did say whether or not you wanted to, go without being paid.
Well, I don't think nobody wants it.
If that means saving that a little bit of tax increase, I'll wait for it. The group insurance on the police department, that is the health insurance, is that, or is that more than just health insurance? Is that
Which
the
line?
line 600 in the police department?
You gotta remember also too that it's includes.
Includes an extra officer, that's right.
Yeah.
But is that just health insurance, or is that more?
Yeah, you said that includes who?
The requested officer.
Yeah,
okay.
the salaries.
Is that just the
payroll
health insurance?
taxes, everything includes the extra officer. So when we
Well,
have
that-
an extra officer out there, get it reduced by that.
Trying to think, group insurance, that should include, yeah, that's your dental, your vision, and your, health.
also, there's under administration, there's another group insurance. I think this is irrelevant.
Yeah, it's all broken down by department.
17. Wow.
See, that was just, what I know it's going up, requested a lot because we had another officer also built in, but I was just amazed that it's gone from last year at 26,000 to this year to 45,000. And then requested next year to 61,000, that's a lot of growth.
60, yes.
It's 7731 per employee,
Okay,
if that helps you do any kind of math you want to do.
okay.
Yeah, 7731. So that's what I was looking for on the sheet. So total 54,117. And then you'll also drop the 401k retirement taxes and all that stuff. That's where the 81,000 total comes from.
I don't see the 81,000.
That was the
total.
budgeted.
Okay, all right.
That was the
All right.
budget for the whole
Okay.
package.
So I know for pre-employment and new employee outfitting dropped a lot. Is that due to anything other, I mean,
We're hoping that we, with salary adjustments and good staff, we don't have to hire anybody else.
It's reduced.
We're fully staffed and we don't anticipate anybody leaving.
so does it cost $1,000 to outfit how much is it per employee?
Which line you on? You talking about for the PD?
900 and 950, yeah.
Which one did you say, Ron?
900 and 950 pre-employment and new employee outfitting.
Page 9.
Well, we put in that 1,000
Mhm.
for new officer.
Okay,
So that
so that's
can-
what it costs, about $1,000 per officer?
Yeah, psych eval and all that stuff, psych eval, drug test, all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So that was in there, and then the employee outfitting was the same thing. So actually, those two could probably reduce.
We need to check that because that might have been an added officer fee, but we'll look at it. I think you're right, I think it does come out.
Did we budget a revenue line item for selling that car for $2,000?
No, not yet. But it could probably go in miscellaneous revenue. I don't know what we budgeted for that. I think it's $500 maybe.
And I know we had a lot of,
We actually budgeted 1,000 for miscellaneous revenue.
we did budget.
We budgeted 1,000 for miscellaneous revenue. So that could be, if it sells for 2,000, that could be another 1,000.
So our police vehicle upkeep, we're anticipating newer cars, less upkeep. But we had last year budgeted 37,000, this year 42,000. We're dropping all the way to 12,000.
Yeah, Chief and I had a long discussion about that, and we've got, I think he said 4 cars that are still under warranty and 3 that are not, but we've got 1 that has excessive miles on it, around 110,000. Everything else is lower. And like I said, we're getting rid of the one that really has cost a lot. But They all have new tires on them. They've been serviced and maintained, so we're hoping that if we can keep it around there.
I think it's a little ambitious.
I do think that's
Yeah.
$12,000 for a fleet of how many? 7, 8 cars?
Yeah. $1,000, you gotta change oil,
Yeah.
rotate tires, and deal with any problems that you have on top of that.
Yeah,
Inspections.
that number's probably gonna come back bite us there.
Then we can bump it up some if
Yeah.
the board so chooses.
And fuel. So we're at 18,000 requested. And
Yeah, we think we're gonna finish out around 16.5. And the fuel is just a guess. It depends on, it's
Right.
an election year. It could go up, skyrocket, or it could go way down. We're hoping it goes down.
Depends on who goes in office.
Yeah.
And that uniforms, would that be zero if we don't have any new officers, or do we still have to spend money on uniforms?
I did talk to Chief about that, and he said that all, let's see, he said the 2 SROs and the 2 new guys, Willie and Charles, I think it was 4, that we're gonna need 2 new shirts and 2 new pair of pants. Pants were $60, the shirts were $30, so you figure, he said 2 pants at 60, 120 times 4, and then you're talking the shirts were 60 times 4. So what is that? $700, $800, something. So that might can be cut to 1,000 for uniforms.
But it won't be
But
zero.
he said everybody else was good. You know of anything else that y'all need for this upcoming year as far as any updated uniforms or anything? I think everybody's good.
No, the main thing we go through is shirts and boots during the year. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. So we might can cut that maybe to 15 or
If you do, I
1,000.
say put the 500 up in the maintenance on the cars.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's not gonna be zero, I didn't know if that was for new officer. Let's see.
so we only have $200 for drug enforcement.
Yes.
So that means that there'll be no drug enforcement.
We did it this year. Trying to find where you're at. Enforcement.
510-34.
Yep.
Is drug enforcement,
That's did y'all do any this year? No, any drug enforcement?
we did some. So basically, if I remember correctly, that is for equipment or stuff we might need for that, or to use for if they're doing any undercover type stuff.
Yeah.
But we also do have a drug fund
Yeah.
for stuff like that too.
And we do get some money.
Well, now, the drug, but now that's the same drug fund I'm talking about right here.
It may be.
I know it is. That only had $200.
you got the drug recovery funds expenditures, but that's what you recover, I assume.
So
That's what we get
now,
from the state.
that's,
Helps from the state.
so now I would say that would be a buyer because because the police department needs to do something, and so if we don't have any money there for that, other than what was $200, because you were gonna you're gonna end up going back to the hip.
So you think we should increase that?
Oh, yes,
How
sir.
much?
That I would at least put 12 to 1,500.
Okay.
Because they won't be able to do anything with $200.
Make it 1,500.
I put 12. I'll talk to Chief and ask him tomorrow today.
I added 13 to make it 1,500, but do you want it 1,200 or 1,500? What does the board want?
Say that one more time.
I guess, what exactly, is this for like informants and that kind of
Yeah.
money?
Buying drugs.
Buying drugs and
and-
stuff.
and, yeah.
Money to buy drugs.
Don said, what was the prices again, the amount?
They will go 1,200 to 1,500.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
I was just gonna add 1,300 to it, make it 1,500, but we can make it 1,200 if that's what we need to do. I mean, it don't matter.
Go 1,500, that's fine.
All right, let's go run back up to the top and let's talk about the vehicle upkeep. Do we want to take some off the uniforms and move it up there, or do we just want to leave it where it sits and do an amendment if we need it?
Well,
I'm a little concerned about 12,000.
12,000, I just think it is awfully low. I mean, I don't have any real numbers to go off of that, but,
Can I help you out a little bit? It's
Yeah.
killing me.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm
Go
trying
ahead.
to just listen. But when you're looking at the prior year budget of 37, you need to keep in mind that included fuel because we had them combined that year. They have only been broken out this current year.
okay.
So if you look below it, the prior year was 0. So 2 years ago, the total for repairs and fuel was 37,580.
So we got
So
30,000.
you are a little bit leaner, but you've gotten rid of your 2 problem cars
Mhm,
from 2
mhm.
years ago. So I didn't think it was unrealistic at the time, but
So, yeah, so we got, with fuel and upkeep, we got 30,000 budgeted.
And we
Which
used
is,
37.
Yeah, which is,
No, we used
we
42.
yeah,
We used 42.
42 this year. But there was, I know, a couple big repairs on the old cars. Were they $12,000 repairs or?
We had a couple that got wrecked.
Yeah.
Then we had several times radiators went out, thermostats went out, had a tire rod break on one.
Yeah.
Yeah, made pretty much major repairs on all of them.
Seems like most of the checks I signed were about $2,000,
Yeah.
$2 to $3,000 on the bigger repairs.
So you think we can just saving $12,000 is enough?
I think, and you know, the hope is that we're not going to do this police car and policeman, that we've still got Larry Strickland that's still looking at us,
Mhm.
trying to get us a car. So if we get that, hopefully we can replace that older 2014
Mhm.
and get it out of operation.
So we're just gonna leave it at 12 for now?
I think so with what Marl said.
Okay. I had a question about our debt service numbers. I know that we kind of last year voted in the Tahoe at a 5-year rate, and then we decided we didn't want to do that anymore. Did we make an adjustment to try to speed that up, or in this debt service? Are we just paying?
So Tahoe, we owe, we'll make a payment, then we'll owe 3 years on July 1st. We'll have 3 years left on the Tahoe.
So this does not accelerate that?
Do you want to pay more? Is that what you want to do?
Well, I thought that's what we said, we were gonna try to pay it off in 3 years instead of
Yeah.
5.
Well, we financed it for 4.
Oh, 4.
So, yeah, we
Okay.
did 4 on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got 3 left.
And we put it in as the loans set there.
So there's nothing extra?
Nothing extra.
Nothing
Okay,
extra, yeah.
on principal.
And the Durango is 3 years or 4 years?
The one we just got?
Yeah.
That, we paid we paid for that
That
box
was
right
good.
now.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
that was paid
so
out.
only debt service is for the Tahoe?
It's for the Tahoe, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Tahoe. And it should be 1411,
Mm,
14111, I mean, total.
oh, well.
With the with the interest and all. It's 12046 and then 206.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yep. Add that together, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, we have 3 years on it, so,
Well, this is not a year to accelerate that, but maybe next year.
yeah. Yeah, and we did, like I said, like the mayor said, we did talk with Larry Strickland and had a really good conversation. And we put in for 2 vehicles, outfitted completely and everything. I think they were about $65,000, $70,000 for the same Durango we just got. So we're hoping he'll come through on that, and we feel pretty confident maybe at least one. He said that he felt good, so we'll see.
Okay.
And so, does it,
What?
does that bring the, police department down to, let's see, Mr. Mayor, that now,
Is this yours or mine? It's mine.
so the left side of the table is yours. The right side is mine. I got it. You see, nobody else has to put up with that.
You had to share.
You wanna share it myself?
He got it, look, he's all spread out over there, left and right.
So basically, that pulls that $131,000 out of the police budget. We're knocking it down to about $655 total. Is that what we're looking at now?
650, 135.
Okay.
I had 435.
Huh?
I had 651, 435.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed the number.
And then
Maybe you missed the number.
It could be.
And then you add the 1,300 back for the drugs.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Was that
just,
the only change? Are we doing anything with the
So,
You took the pre-employment and new employee outfitting out, right?
No.
no,
No.
You gonna leave those? Okay,
they're not in the 81.
okay.
so the new number is, oh, my stuff is gone. Oh, no. So 650 what?
I had 651, 435.
14,
651, 435.
I have 648,835. So did you take the 81,264 for the policeman? You took the $55,000 for the vehicle and you added 1,300?
Uh-huh. But I did it all by hand. I don't want using a calculator, so I'm not gonna say I'm right. Oh, Lord.
$435.
My calculator says it's 651, 435.
Yeah.
I agree.
I second that motion.
I was sitting over here, cheating off the, mayor's figures, my man, how it was in high school. Do y'all think we could get the fire department to only like take like 12% or something? Probably not. Cause let's look at, how do we look at that? Well, page 12, under lights, street lights, well, never mind that.
We spent a lot of time on invoices over the last year or two, and we anticipated going up, the rates and all.
Got my street lights.
That's pretty accurate. Marla pulled up the last year, and we broke down every invoice on that.
Back to the fire department, if, I think if we sat down and we come up with a plan, and we had a plan, it might be possible to work with them, but I don't know.
No, they ain't gonna do that. I know they ain't gonna do that. Everybody be wanting to work out a plan with
I think your numbers are wrong also, where you got estimated for the payroll taxes and stuff on the fire department. You don't have anything budgeted on that?
What page?
Page 11.
I did that number, and because everything the fire department gets is related to the taxes charged and collected, I just figured out what that number was likely to be. And so the fire department's gonna get $106,557 this year, which is what the estimated column is, in some form, whether it's through doing their payroll or in a contribution. The total is gonna add up to about $106,000.
My question on that is, previous year, you got 208,993. You got requested 147,252. How would it drop $60,000?
That was the mess that the college got us, that we worked with them on. I think that is where it got all messed up.
Well, if you look at the budget column, that both of them have $98,000 in them, but if you look at the actual column, one was 68, one was 79. Now, I'm not saying that I did something right or wrong, but when I was going through that, and I may have just done I don't know off the top of my head, because we ended up not using that column for the because we were working towards doing budget amendments, and we ended up doing budget amendments in a different way. So I don't know if I started and didn't finish, or if that's the number I came up with. And that may be the number on property taxes and not vehicle taxes.
On a different question that has to do with numbers, would I be the only one in here that's code?
Pretty much. Oh. And you got a code on.
Emily and I are cold. I don't know about Daniel left. He's not cold because he left.
It's on 70.
No one of them code.
Can we bump it up?
I appreciate it.
It's us old people, Walter.
Huh?
It's us old people.
All right.
Well, now, I don't know about the old people in the room,
Commissioner Roberts gonna start sweating in a minute.
but I didn't know I'm
Start
good.
sweating in a minute.
T-shirt and a hoodie on?
So do we believe that number on the fire to be higher, lower, or right?
I'm saying, I'm not sure about the estimated number, because we didn't pursue doing all that estimated all the way through, but I'm confident in the requested number.
Okay, I thought we.
Because I think we calculated it together.
I think so too.
I know you're just trying to explain it. I didn't quite understand why this number is all over the place. Went from 208 to 104, now it's 147. How do we, why is it all over the place?
Well, the current budget is 104,
Yeah?
and the prior year budget, I think, is just out of whack, because it is what it is, and the prior year ended up being, it says 160, but I don't know how it was 160. Oh, I know how it was 160. The money from the previous year was included in that 160.
Right.
It should have been, because April and I talked about this, so it takes until August to figure out what you owe them because of the tax reporting. And she figured it out and she paid them, but she paid them in the current, in that year, instead of giving it a 6/30 date to be payable for the previous year.
Okay,
So,
Because I didn't know it was supposed to.
gotcha.
so that one, that's why that prior year looks weird.
Mhm.
But we're fairly confident on the current year budget and the estimated for this year, I think, and then what we're doing with the 4-cent tax increase for next year,
Okay.
which is about right, you know, it goes up 40%.
Now, this, the next page are street sanitation salaries. We need to make an adjustment there because part of town administrator money's coming into that one now, right? But what do we say about 20-some thousand?
20, I think what, 26 maybe?
So part of the
Yeah, I don't think that.
town administrator's money is, 26,000 of them.
No, it wouldn't be there, it would be in the water and sewer fund.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, it's still general fund.
Oh,
It'd be independent.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Buddy and his crew.
Okay, so general fund part of their stuff.
Yeah.
I got you.
Well, I was on the street and sanitation.
Yeah, he won't be there. He's already in the 10 account.
Did you say you gonna work for free this year?
All year long.
Yeah.
That's fine. I was writing this comp time.
I bet you the grocery store won't take comp.
I bet you he won't take that. No show up, not gonna go. No. Only the boss lady will approve it.
Which sheet are we at now?
I think we're on 12, is that correct?
Oh, that's right place.
Just backing up a second, on the police department, did we decide we were gonna break out the overtime, or are we gonna leave it as is?
I don't think we ever see it.
Because I know we got the same situation here with sanitation and
Talking about adding a line for PD for overtime?
not in sanitation, but
Yeah,
yes.
so that's what you're asking. Yes, yeah. Yeah, we probably need to add a line for overtime for that too.
But I'm asking, is that what the board wants to do?
To me, it just makes more sense, and that way we'll know how much money that we actually have in the budget for that, and it should help us to to budget better, the next coming year.
So we'll do that in pretty much all our departments that we have overtime in, is that correct?
What did you think of the,
Well, what I was thinking is for the first 6, 7, 8 years I was on the board, there was always a line item part-time. And,
yeah,
and we've seemed to abandon part-time help altogether. And the part-time help used to help us avoid the comp time issues and the vacation issues and stuff.
well, now, and I discussed that same issue with the chief. And the chief said the main thing is that the departments where these officers work, that they are, that they're so short of help that officers can't come. And he also said secondly, that whenever someone goes home sick or whatever, that part-time, or that they can try to call, but they may not be able to get them to come in. And that was the reason that they wanted the extra officer, because they were going to have him as like a mid-shift person.
Okay.
And he was a floater, covered training, anytime anybody was out, vacation, those types of things, that's what that officer gives them versatility.
Gotcha. So we are gonna put some kind of line item called overtime or comp time or something?
Yeah, not more than what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we'll do it for each department that has it.
And I think that it will help us from year to year to be able to better fund what is really necessary. And I'll tell you one thing too. Now we're getting down to the nitty and the gritty.
So on page 12, where we have our salaries, that's more than cost of living, it appears. But is that big chunk, does that reflect another position, or what is that?
The 300?
No, it goes from 182 requested to was 100 this year. We're at 95 right now.
Well, some of it was, again, how Nancy did last year, where you reimburse some from water, sewer, et cetera. And then also some of this here, let me think, was salary adjustments that were included for the maintenance technicians.
We did break those out, did we
Yeah.
not? I mean, we're positive we did that.
Yeah, we did on our payroll sheet. What was it, 182,209?
Because we're requesting nearly double the salaries for street sanitation.
Well, but remember with the current account that that a pretty good chunk of this past year that they were not at full
Yeah.
capacity.
So that is true, we've been running
I realize that, but
one
that,
short.
but if we had been at full capacity, we had $100,000 budgeted. This year we're asking for 182,000.
I thought we had put it down who's split which way. I don't have that.
Those,
I could tell you who's coming out of which one.
in the, water sewer now, we have those broke down like 75, or some of those are broke down like 75-25. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Marla for a little help with this, tell us.
Okay, well, thing number one, when you did your budget amendments the other day, you used the excess money in that line item to pay for other things because you didn't need it for payroll. So that's why it's only 100 now. I don't know how much you took out of it, but I do remember that was part of the discussion we had, that you had so much left over in your payroll funds because of not being fully staffed. They got transferred to other places to balance this year's budget. And then, the rest of the salaries that are budgeted for this year do include a 6% cost of living increase for whoever's eligible. And they did include some extra funds to pay out any, what do you call it, comp time that can't be taken off within the current parameters of the personnel policy.
And there's only 2 public work employees that would get cost of living that are eligible.
Do we have any money built in to, because we had,
And there's some overtime money built in, sorry.
we had approved being able to pay the guys more for certifications as they achieve those. Is there any money for that?
We built that in.
That is built in?
We're talking about the starting pay, or are we talking about?
No, the certifications like buddies going to school and getting classes, just like we work with Chad and so forth, so that as they become certified at more things, there was bumps in the pay.
Yeah. I don't remember discussing that. But Buddy would be the only one eligible. Do you know how many certifications you would get this next year?
6, I want to say.
That's 6 total. You would get it next year.
I'll have by February.
Okay.
And those
So
were,
that would
what,
be-
those were 2 point something a piece, right? Was it 2.5?
That's the deal we had with Chad. I don't know what you've
yeah,
done since, but
same thing.
when I left, that's the deal Chad had.
And me and Buddy broke this down the other day and tried to figure it up.
But it was on certifications that up to the level that the town required. If they went past that,
Yeah.
No.
It'd
well,
be-
I think we would help them we agreed to help them go past that if they wanted to, but it didn't get them further
Yeah, I
past.
think if he were to get them all, if he got all 6 of them, it'd be about $7,500 more.
So but is that in here anywhere?
I don't
Do we
think
have
I don't think we put that in. I think we missed that. Yeah.
And
Nobody mentioned it.
it would take him how long to get them?
If he passes, by maybe next
February's the last
spring.
one.
Yeah.
This coming year.
But next spring, if he passes all the exams, so we would need to look at probably adding roughly about $7,500 for that.
I don't know if I'm by myself, but I would like, in future years, it'd be great if, I like the way the administration is broken out by the employee, if it wouldn't be too much trouble. It seems like we've had that with the police department in the past, where there was, so you could see each person, and especially not because of individuals, but because of, if somebody's getting 75% from this pot and 25% this pot, it would make it easier to me to understand than one big lump salary block.
Something like that.
Something like that sheet there, I remember seeing that one, yep. Yeah.
He's sitting over there with a cheat sheet.
He's got it.
Well, I got a copy for everybody if they want one.
Oh, this one, 22, 23, yeah. Yeah, but something like that made it easier, and especially when it gets down to the ones that, and this is,
Those are your current numbers, that he just did, the title's just wrong.
oh, just didn't
Yeah,
change the
yeah.
title, okay.
So you're wanting like for, street sanitation, admin, whatever, you would want it to be like PD officer one with his salary broken out kinda, PD or major with his salary, maintenance technician one salary.
I think it would
maintenance
make
two.
it easier for us to
That way you can kinda
understand,
see
and then like on, like, so, cause part of your
how,
salary's coming
how
out of
it's
this,
split.
this money,
Okay.
you know, it's actually over, you know, a few pages over, and you can see how it's split and everything.
I was reading your note. You got it wrote down?
Mhm.
Okay.
She's on top of
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, oh, I know. Don't let her fool you now.
But we do feel good about the 182, 209 being accurate for what we need for this coming year.
Yeah, we,
Except
that's what everybody's salaries and all.
Okay.
Yeah, except for the 75 that we need to look at budgeting for. And I'll get an accurate number on that tomorrow, but I think it was about $7,500 what we said, something like that.
Will we throw that 7,500 to the sewer?
Would that be in the water sewer fund?
I mean, that's where,
That's
what that's for.
Didn't all that come out of water and
I
sewer?
think that should probably all come out.
So all those certifications would be water sewer related?
Well, except for you split his salary, so,
That's right.
You can throw a different
Well, say-
percentage on
yeah,
it.
you can throw a different percentage on it.
Yeah,
if
so you
wanted
could go
to.
75, 25, 75 water sewer, 25 general fund or something.
What are we doing now, 7,500?
He's 50/50.
It's either 50/50 or 25/75.
Do you remember Buddy's 25, 75 or 50/50?
Buddy is 50/50.
Buddy's 50/50, okay.
So we can make it like
Buddy's
50,
50/50.
55/45 or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So 3750 out of each one.
So 37, about
3750
37,
out
yeah,
of each one.
yeah, and we can split that. Restore.
Taking 10, 10,
Mhm.
10.
So we can, are we gonna go ahead and try to implement that in this budget, where we break these salaries down? Since we're here and doing it, we've gotta change them anyway.
It's not terribly difficult. to do.
Yeah, I would think
Okay.
we go ahead and make the change if we're gonna do it,
Okay.
and then we got it.
All right.
Let's get it like we want it, and then next year we won't be breaking it down, we'll be looking at each one, so.
All right.
All right, the next big number I see is garbage truck upkeep. That's been all over the place,
Yeah,
and,
that's one I was just looking at.
is, do we feel good about 12,000?
I do, as long as you take it to a mechanic, says you're gonna fix the problem instead of, I don't even know how to say it, being an issue, not telling the guys or whoever drops it off, and then we have an incident like we had, and you call the person up front, and they say, well, the knob and dash is leaking. And you tell nobody? No.
Mhm.
But then you get the whites and they fix it correctly, and we want the triple cents.
And it gives you $1,000 a month, basically. However the tires on them.
Good, all tires are in good shape. And they've completely made, they went through the front all the way to the back. And I still gotta take the push, get the rear bump put back on, but that, insurance doesn't pay for that, to repair that, so that won't even be,
That'll be this year.
yes, sir. That'll be within the next 2 weeks.
Now, the backhoe upkeep,
And we're using wheel chocks now, right?
Yes, sir, they are right now.
backhoe upkeep, we're only asking for 1,500.
It's broke down between the two departments.
Okay.
It's used in water sewer and also used for trash pickup limbs. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That seems to be within what we've been spending.
1,500.
Joy is a killer. The joy is a
And the thing about this, what we're looking at, that we really are not, we've not decreased a lot of these sections. And, that is gonna be a problem. Wow.
We're on page 13.
Yeah, I am.
Well, I was on page 14, because I gave up on 13.
And this top line, this big 4,200 one, that's the one Nancy threw everything into one, and now we're trying to break it back out. Is that why?
On page 13,
Uh-huh.
which one are you
Yeah.
The
on?
first line, current budget's 256,000, and we're asking for 10,000.
Yeah, some of that was, if I remember right, some of that was Powell bill that was thrown in there.
Was that our loan, or for
What page are you on?
page 13, top line?
Oh.
Is that 256?
I can help you out with that.
Okay.
When you did your budget amendments, you're accounting for doing your paving,
Paving,
because
that's
you didn't,
right.
it didn't have its own fund.
That's
Yeah.
what I-
Since now that
that's
you have
what it's at.
adopted your own fund, that 249 will move to the new fund.
Yep, that's what it is.
That's what I figured was paid. Let's see. And the trash can number's gonna probably cut in half maybe, or maybe less, from 13,930.
Yeah, we're thinking, what did we say, 4,000?
Yeah, around 4,000, so
Yeah.
about 10,000 less.
Yep.
Was that 16,635, was that that wasn't a jetter, no, what was that? What's the requested capital outlay?
That's the
16,635.
depreciation.
And the capital outlay, that's the trash cans, is it not?
Mm-mm.
No, that's up there, 3 lines ahead, 4 lines.
Oh, yeah.
7,400,
Never mind.
16,635, that was for depreciation, wasn't it? Was that depreciation?
Oh, yeah, that's where we stuck our depreciation. That's
Yeah.
right.
Is that right? Is that the way to do it?
Oh, that moral answer.
Is that 16,631? Sort of.
Well, we went through an exercise to figure out your trash revenue and what it costs you to collect and dispose of the trash. And at the end, there was like $16,000 left over, and we had a discussion based on the audit note about the town's assets depreciating to less than 50% of value, that you're going to have to replace your garbage truck. So anything that you don't need to spend from your rates on to collect and dispose of garbage, you should try to set aside so that you can buy a new garbage truck and not have to finance it, all that kind of stuff. And so that's where we put it, because we didn't have we didn't have a reserve line or anything like that to put it on. So we just put it there in the budget. It really needs to be relabeled.
Mm. And our last one, our debt service and debt service interest.
Have you still got that packet Michael gave me? It was the magnetic garbage truck. And I think you got a new service truck. Is that what they said on it?
That was the, yep,
26.
Oh, it's the you want me to answer that question or just be quiet?
Go ahead.
I'll go either way.
Garbage truck.
See, it's the garbage truck and half the payment for your street paving.
Oh, yeah, that's got street paving in there. 'cause of
Mhm.
the top.
Oh, yeah, okay. Dang, debt service interest went up a lot. That was mostly street paving interest, I guess?
25.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it's probably 22,000
16,000.
of it.
Yeah. You're right at 16.
And the rest of it is for new truck?
It's the garbage truck.
Oh. So 16 and 37 would be 19.7, and it's 25,000.
I'm showing principal on the garbage truck is 18,900.
Mm-hmm.
And then principal on the street pavement is
15,457.
15,400, so that's 34,500.
Yeah.
Is that what's on there?
Mm.
Oh, well, half, it's gotta be half of it. So half of 15 is,
About
7,700, so it should be 26,000, yeah. And then half of the interest will be a little over 22,000 plus 3,200, so it should be 25.
Okay. Because we're splitting it.
Right. And the other half is in Powell bill.
Mm.
We probably could just flip the page and got that split
Yeah.
out since that's all that's in Powell bill.
Yeah.
I just thought about it.
We're going to page 14 now.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So, out on the engineering services, on page 14, how can we go all the way down that we're only gonna request $1,000 whenever,
So what we did there, we took the $53,562, and we just divided it up, basically, and put it in one of these, 3 categories, and, then calculate our debt service principal, debt service interest. So we just divided that out, best guess. So we can move that around as needed, but it will not exceed that because it's Powell bill. Did I answer that correctly?
More or less. But I could tell you why it was $4,800 last year. And why it's not gonna be $4,800 this year.
Okay.
You had to have a new Powell bill map last year. Every so often you have to redo your Powell bill map. And so you had to have a new map last year. And I think you only have to do it every 5 years unless you have a change. So if you do have an annexation or anything like that, you have to redo it the year of the annexation. But if you have no changes, you have to do it every so many years, and I think it's 5.
so we had to add on the streets that we annexed.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember. I just remember that you had it done because I proofed it before it got sent back to you.
So that's why we budgeted 5,000 for that map, but we won't need that, so that's why we only budgeted 1,000.
Right. Unless you've had an annexation this year. Which I didn't think about that the day we were budgeting. But overall, what he said was true. If you go back to page 1, the estimated Powell bill revenue is $53,562. And so it's your best guess how you're going to spend it, or if you know where you're going to spend it, you can put those in, but the rest of it could just be there and amended as needed.
prior year was 17,000, was that, how was that so much different?
Stretching my memory, but I think it is drainage related, when we're trying to get all the drainage things sorted out and get the grants we got from the county and whoever else. But I think it was, to be in here, I'm fairly certain it was drainage related.
Community building upkeep is about half of what it is this year requested.
Well, that's because we had a couple busted toilets and everything that we had to fix.
Okay.
And so we hope nobody does anything, but if so, we'll keep the deposits.
Gotcha.
So,
And that's another thing we should, might possibly consider is going up on the deposit.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Some late night parties.
Mhm.
On the 16th?
Yeah, of that, money we voted on earlier today, the 315,000, are we, is that money, I mean, are we, without doing a master plan or anything, are we able to allocate X number of that for refurbishing the playground equipment and stuff like that?
The economic development money,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just for downtown, if I'm not mistaken. I don't
Okay.
think you can do the playground equipment with that. I think it's just downtown.
Okay.
Am I right on that?
You need to go back and, it was actually, a committee allotment from
Yeah.
last year's budget. And I think it loosely says something about downtown and walking trail or something like that. But then you submitted a scope.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to go back and see what your scope says to see if what he's talking about falls inside that scope. And if it doesn't, then you'd have to talk to him to see if you can adjust the scope to include that.
I could talk with,
But it's not out of the realm of possibility, but if you get too far away from downtown, you might be stretching it. So like a capital improvement plan would be beneficial to the downtown, and a Parks and Recreation master plan, even though you have a park outside of town, you have outside of downtown, you have areas in downtown that may be included, so you can make those stretches. But that's actual repairs out there, I don't know, depending on what scope was approved.
yeah, I'll find out tomorrow. I'll email Michael Grant that did this and see if he can give me an answer if it can be used.
All right. Is the 33,000 for capital outlay, what are we planning on that for?
That should be in lieu.
That's 47 lots, if I remember right. No, we actually did more than that. What was it? 33,300 divided by 42 lots is what we anticipated. That would pay fee in lieu, and the majority of that's going to be coming in from Pinecroft. $800 per lot.
Is this a revenue chart?
This is
No,
not, this is an expense, but it's dedicated
but
to.
It's similar to Powellville. If you go back to page 1, they estimated $37,600 in fee in lieu. And then they budgeted out what they thought they would spend and had $33,000 left over that can't be spent anywhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's fee in lieu is dedicated to just Parks and Rec, upkeep, maintenance, whatever.
Gotcha. So for,
Interesting land.
And so we could actually maybe add the side where it says park, just put in parentheses, fee in lieu offset or something.
so we could potentially fix up the equipment if we receive those funds right there with that money. I got you.
Yeah, and we should get those probably in the next 6 months, 3 to 6 months maybe. So, contacted the developer to see if they were going to pay that, so we can make sure we get
Watch
it.
out for those developers.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see.
On page 18.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these changed other than we added 500 to the Women's Improvement Club. And we did reduce the community day from 10 to 3,000.
Employee appreciation went down.
Yeah, we took one for the team. Buddy said he'd buy some steaks.
So we have no money, going to the Ray M. Flores Park.
Yeah, the fee and lieu money. You talking
That's
about-
a really old account, back
Yeah.
before we had a park. That's when we were allocating money to go towards building the park. But now that we have a park, it has its own department.
I guess we all get into parks and recreation business.
So we have money allocated for like electricity, internet, maintenance,
Yes.
supplies, and so forth on page 16. Community day.
And on the 33,300 that we have for capital outlay for the park on 16, what are we gonna do with that?
That's your fee and lieu. That's your, you got a revenue on the first page, about 3 from the bottom, and that's the income of the fee and lieu. And then this is designated to the park. Fee and lieu is used for the parks and recreation. So there's $33,000 there.
But I think that the answer is, one, you got to collect it, and then after you collect it, if you collect it, you can decide how to spend it.
So it can be used at Flores Park though for maintenance, stuff like that, upkeep,
Or new equipment.
new equipment, mulch.
And it'll also be, can be used for the purchase of a new park, anything like that.
Well, now, Ray M. Flores Park, that I'm constantly in that area, and that is a very busy park. Because people are out there doing stuff all the time.
Doing stuff.
Stuff. You know, so a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Just watch the games.
Yeah.
But I mean, they seem to be, there's a lot of walkers that people walk their dogs and stuff out there. A lot of people out there with children. Not the stuff that ran through y'all little filthy minds.
You're the one brought it up. Read Facebook.
But no, as soon as we start getting some of these developments going and collect that fee and lieu, we'll have some money to put out there. for that.
Well, get that part looking good, and then we need to start looking for the future.
Mhm. Yep. The only special appropriations I saw with extra was 3,000 for Community Day. Didn't we put some money into that from this past year's budget?
We did, but we didn't spend it because we didn't have Community Day in this.
We spent
Yeah.
$110 on that.
Oh, okay.
But that was to buy some plywood
Plywood.
for this coming
Yeah.
Community Day.
Gotcha.
And,
But since the PCAs took it over, they asked us to try to budget 3,000 to cover some events that they want to plan this year.
But it's not just Community Day.
It
it's
could
for-
be Fall Festival, it could be the chili cook-off they want to try to do and stuff. So,
My next question was on water back on page 22, water sewer fees.
22?
Mhm. That's a substantial increase. Does that reflect a,
you talking about the 56 and the 30,000?
I'm sorry, no, the 000 line, which goes current budget 775 to requested 920? Does that reflect a percentage increase?
Yes,
That, yeah.
that is a 15% increase on water.
That's 15%?
Yes, sir. And what that did is that covered, which was $1.21.
$12.
$1.12, excuse me. It's $1.12 on the water and $2.98 on the sewer per thousand.
And that also includes the out-of-town collection rates for water and sewer.
Which are minimal.
$12 and, what'd
Yeah,
you say?
3, 4 count.
$1.12 and $2.98, which that is in, it might be back Don't think that
I don't
is.
think it's federal. And the average water customer is how many thousands? Do you have a number?
How many average water customers using how many gallons?
That was less than 4, I think.
3,000 to 4,000 a month.
Every time I've ever run it, it's been around 3,500.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you ever much. I'm trying to do it as
So it
quiet
looks like
as
around
possible.
$16 increase
Yeah,
in
about-
water, so.
About $16, yeah.
Comes to 14 total. 40 now.
Those water and sewer capacity fee increases are based on projected,
Subdivision development. That's pretty much all the lots in town, and then the lots in, the one that's annexing in minus the sewer capacity, because they'll have 7.
my only concern is that, some of these subdivisions have been waiting quite a while for, I guess, $100,000 almost of this budget. And
Well,
if things got held up or whatever, for whatever reason, that could put us in a bind.
Well, talking about for sewer capacity?
Water capacity, yeah, water and sewer capacity fees and taps, yeah.
For the sewer
Well,
capacity, sewer capacity, for Pinecrest's already been approved. I mean, so they'll have to pay that.
Okay,
Yeah, because they come in under the moratorium.
okay,
So that was why that number is a little reduced, and then again, the pots is gonna be septic, so we will
Okay.
charge them for capacity. And then the water capacity, that's based off the new rate for both of the developments, plus, three duplexes, I think, and then I think we figured a couple of other, maybe houses around here and there. But those fees for the water and sewer go into the reserve.
So if we don't get them, it's not killing.
Yeah.
okay, good,
So they all go to reserves.
all right.
Page 23.
Mm-hmm.
As we go to 23 on slide once again. You lay on for me, I'll be right back.
The billing clerk, line 100. Are we breaking that out of?
Yeah, we'll have to adjust that the same way. It's a split, but we'll, break it out and,
So that one should be a 50-50 one, right? 50-50 split?
is the billing, is
Which one?
Emily 50/50?
That's assistance 50/50.
50/50, okay.
What I think I wanna do is go in after the title and put percentages.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a good idea, and that takes all that away.
Mm-hmm. So that billing clerk is one person or split between two salaries? Is that just,
Everything's split.
no, but I'm saying it says salaries billing clerk. Is that, this one right here?
Mhm.
This is supposed to be,
And then billing clerk.
Should be half of Emily.
It looks like they're, two of them together.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
We'll get it straight, but
Well,
that looks
well-
like two of them together because.
Where did the new finance officer go? Was she all in administrative?
Did we put the finance in the billing clerk?
So what's in there now is half of Emily, half of April, and half of your
25.
finance position.
Okay.
Okay.
But what's normally in there is whatever percentage of the town administrator plus half of April, half of Emily. So we're gonna have to adjust that.
But I'm gonna
Unless we're
separate
gonna
them
reallocate
out.
the administrator salary
Percentages
Okay.
on that.
and create the new positions.
Water, we were just talking about on page 23,
So that number
the
should.
salaries billing clerk, 73,
Yeah, that
567.
number should come down.
That number's
It might go
split
up.
between three
depending on your
salaries right now.
percentage.
Yeah. We'll adjust that one.
So it's building clerk and two other positions
It's
Mhm.
that is 73 is funded.
yes. But the
50% of those three positions.
Yeah, 50% because we got half Emily, half of April, a piece of April, piece of Michael, and then it was, I think it was also part of the.
But the piece of Michael's missing, that was accidentally all.
That's right, it
into
needs
the-
to come down
yeah,
here.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that number might change a little, but it's not gonna change a lot, cause you're gonna take some out, put some in.
And
But
then the
you'll
line.
gain it in the overhead account, or 10 account.
Right. And the salaries, that number represents who?
That's everybody but administrative people and, your, public works
Okay.
superintendent.
So that's everybody except for administrative people
And Buddy,
and,
he has his own line right above that.
But we're getting ready to break all that out, so you
Mhm.
can see it all.
That'll be good.
and we think our engineering services is gonna stay about the same.
That was our best
Yes.
guess.
Yeah.
Our current actual 75 and current budget 75, 60, $10,000 prior year budget.
Our group insurance is going up, but is it going double? Or the budget in double?
Those are actual numbers that come
Yeah.
from.
I think this is a result of the same thing where you were understaffed and you had excess money in these lines. And so the
Yeah.
current budget's already been adjusted through budget amendments to use that money elsewhere.
Yeah, well, we basically have run like 3 full-time maintenance guys for 6
So-
months, 7 months.
So now I'm a little bit confused. So, and that was out of group insurance, right?
Yes.
So now the reason that it has doubled is what?
Well, the reason it wasn't as much is we weren't fully staffed the whole year
Uh-huh.
and did budget amendments to move some of that money somewhere else. But that 30,000 is an accurate number that they gave us for this upcoming year.
Okay. If we're at full staff.
That's fully staffed, yes, sir.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
That was based off of 17, I think it is. How many full-time employees we got? 17? 17 full-time employees? Yes.
It's, 7, 5, and 3, 8, 15.
15, okay. And then you got your part-timer.
Well, I think we've established on page 24 that our capital reserve will be gone.
Well, maybe not, because you have to take out the half of the finance officer, so it could be close to a wash.
Okay.
I didn't think about that till we flipped to that page.
Gotcha. On page 25, our water purchase, does that reflect the 60% increase that we're talking about?
It does.
So that's pretty much the exact same usage as this year, so we're not anticipating any more usage?
We figured it up. I can't remember how many billions of gallons it was.
56 million or
Gosh,
something.
yeah, 56 billion gallons or something. We run a tape on it.
What's worth that?
And, but that's with the 6%. And the 6% of the county doesn't go into effect till September. So but we went ahead and based it off the whole year.
And the new homes and stuff probably won't be built in time to affect that enough? Is that what we're thinking?
Some could, it just depends.
It's gonna be tight.
It's gonna be, yeah.
The time, you figure 3 to 6 months to finish the development, and then the new houses being built 3 months, and then you gotta sell them. So it could be June. Now, we might have some coming on in January, February, but it still won't be,
Substantial.
And doesn't look like they'll do whatever with a, rate cut either.
what about you?
26, I think. Any questions on those?
Man. You know, I hate to keep announcing, but on most of these pages, the pages remaining, hardly anything's gonna change. And, that's gonna leave us with a big problem.
I see sewer plant upkeep went down $10,000. Is that
26, page 26?
page 27? Line 1500. Is there data that reflects that it'll go down $10,000?
Well, we had a discussion on it and everything, but I think with the repairs we've had this year, we don't anticipate any more of those repairs in the next year. And they've done a good job getting it cleaned up and trying to get it keeping it maintained and all. Yeah, me and Buddy talked about that, but we're hoping it'll stay around under 35, well under 35. But with the cost and the repairs this year, hopefully we won't have anything major.
So why is the capital outlay going to drop like $4,000?
What was it, 6?
Yeah, 38227400, page 27.
I don't remember if we put that in for a specific need. I think we just put it in there. I don't remember it being for anything particular day.
Yeah, I can't recall anything
And then we just budgeted. You remember what it was? If it was just, we just put
I
it in.
remember all of it.
Well, now we go.
I remember all of it.
Do you know what it was for? What was the
What was the
6,000?
6,000?
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. That's what I was thinking.
So what was the 10,683 we spent this year for?
Sampler.
Is that a sampler?
For what?
A sampler.
Okay.
And then you gotta figure in the other 3,000 that was spent repairing it back in October. The old one, which that's 3,000, and
That
the
was
new one
expense.
was another
Yeah.
12,000.
Yeah.
And there's several things that are being looked at right now.
So line 8100, it says debt service and interest. Most of the other lines, they were broken out to a debt service and a debt service interest.
We have the interest beneath it, it's just a label on it.
So that 8100, we can strike and interest?
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
accurate, okay.
So now we're taking that one out, period.
No,
Just the word interest on
Just-
8100.
Oh, okay.
just so it doesn't confuse it.
So, most of the time, I understand interest is high, but our interest is $4,000 more than the debt service? sounds like a bad interest rate.
T2, 8100.
It's so many things.
Oh, it's several loans.
Yes. 5 to 6 to be exact.
USDA.
USDA,
Yeah, USDA.
raised tank, raised sewer rehab, I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
These loans here for $594,000. So there's 13, there's the concept. So you've got, Oaks Pond Lift Station, it is, it's paid for, yeah, it's paid up. You got sewer upgrade, real fire flow, upgrade water. And then public works trucks in there. And you got all of this up here.
Still seems odd though that our interest is more than our debt service.
Two.
8121. 36636.
Yeah, our highest interest rate there is 4 3/4. So it does seem a little odd. We might need to check our spreadsheet, just make sure there's nothing there.
I
Yeah.
can help you.
Okay.
Sorry. Your bond payments are increasing principal, declining interest.
You told me that.
So, like, your first payment on your new USDA loan, the 310,000, the principal's 5,000, but the interest is 7,244. But after 6 years, it'll go up to like 7,500 principal, and then whatever interest for that year. So that keeps it an average about $12,000 to $13,000 a year. But that's how they go up and down. So when you have newer loans, which this one's brand new, that it's only the second year, the principal is lower than the interest.
Okay. I remember going.
But they start you off slow so you can build up towards it.
Yep. But I got you. I kind of remember us talking about it.
So you're saying you're paying more principal up front and less
No, you're
interest?
paying less
More interest.
principal, more interest, and so the payment's closer to 12,000, and as the loan goes on, the payment will get closer to 13. Every 6 years or so, the set principal amount will go up, and then the interest rate comes down. But when they meet in the middle, you'll be paying closer to 13 a year. And that's how all of them are structured, but that puts a big, your other two that you've been paying on for 10 and 13 years now? Well, have been paying on 13 years. The principal is coming year 7,500, and the interest is only 61. So that one started to flip already.
So that number is accurate. Okay, yeah, 28, page 28. So our water sewer upkeep is budgeted much less. That's, once again, optimistic.
Which, are we
Yeah,
supposed to-
and,
Page 28,
and
second line.
with Buddy and his crew fixing some of the minor problems versus contracting them out. I think Buddy said that what some of the projects we did, or repairs we did this year, he felt like he could do and probably save us about $30,000 to $40,000.
But we might have to pay the comp time to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But still might save some.
Mm-hmm. So the last thing is, can we get an explanation on the capital reserve numbers? Our budgeted 7,500 this year, 56,000 next year.
That's the offset.
That's the offset for the ones you were asking about a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's just in a hold.
Mhm.
Did you find 200,000?
No. That is not good. And really, because we could go back through, and I'm sure we will, but I don't think there's too much more to cut.
Well, I don't think you can cut any more and run the town feasible. And that's what we went to do, and the way we looked at it was, we've gotta be realistic about this, and let's put in what we've got to have, but we can take out what we don't need. And I think you saw that going through it, that there's some things that are a little lean, and it could bite us, I mean, if something breaks or whatever, but, you know, we put what we think needs to be there to make water sewer profitable. The tin account is the one that concerns me the most. But anyway, that's what we have to work with. So I don't think there's a lot of, whenever we get these payrolls straightened out, get that taken care of, and we'll move Michael's salary around like it's supposed to be. We'll have all that broke out and taken care of. I can't, there was just a couple of changes that we had that I remember, and so it's pretty much where it's at right now.
We're gonna have the, public hearing on the 17th.
Well, we've got to have it advertised for 2 weeks, correct?
Well, I can't, on the budget, I think you'll have to have it one time, but it has to be at least 10 days
Yeah, I think it's
before.
10 days before.
So if we don't come to a decision tonight on this, then where do we go from here?
We meet the 17th.
You can go into the public hearing without a balanced budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and if we can't balance that night, we'll have another meeting. Hopefully we won't.
And so is our, meeting date in July, is it?
The 8th.
So it's the
It's
8th,
the 8th.
okay.
Okay.
So we can, actually, that we could go, was it 1, 2, 3, that's 5. Is that business days?
What's that?
It's calendar.
Calendar.
Calendar day? Okay, so, yeah, that we could have it as late as like during the week of the 23rd through 29th. Yeah, if we had to.
So I think between now and then, once they make the changes that we talked about and get everybody in the right place, 25%, 75%, so forth,
It'll,
then it's a matter of, we all need to go home and think about, right now, basically, my math shows about a 15.6 cent tax increase if we don't cut anything and just pass what's in there. That's without pulling from the general fund. Of course, we could potentially pull from the general fund and avoid some of that, but that's kind of just borrowed time. But it is an option. And what is our general fund now? 661
fund balance.
fund balance. I'm sorry, yeah, fund balance 661. And what is the number that we get a letter from the state?
8%.
To drop below.
Well, 8%, they don't want you to give below 8%, but I think you get a letter at 25%,
Yeah,
something like that. It's just a warning letter. And I think figuring it up, if we had to use fund balance appropriation, we'd still probably be in the low to mid 30s, upper 30s.
I think this board needs to set a number there where it wants to maintain that fund balance and then try or a bottom of the barrel. I know some other towns do that, but I think the 8% is kind of a myth thing.
That's just a
It's not-
statute.
Yeah.
Yeah, because.
That's only a month of operating fund.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't wanna get
now,
that.
if you're down 8%, you are in trouble.
Well, that's what we don't want to get,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm
The,
trying
now,
to show here.
and let me say this about, our choices. So, if we say that we were going to use the, fund balance to kind of get ourselves out of trouble, unless we cut spending, we will be back in the same place the next year, unless our revenues increase substantially.
Well, our revenues aren't going to increase because we're not adding houses other than what will be coming through Pinecroft
Right.
and a few houses that are built within the town limits.
So, I mean, so if we don't do something that does not involve, putting general fund money in to, stop the bleeding, we will find ourselves in a much troubling place, 25, 26.
We're talking with some of the county commissioners, they're anticipating property revaluations to be at close to 40 to 50% increase, which is gonna hurt, but we don't have to necessarily, that usually, as everybody knows, you don't necessarily increase, you don't just take that whole increase. So you take, if our rate's now 61 cents, you know, we may drop it to 55%, which is 55 cents, which is still an overall net increase in total dollars, even though the rate goes down.
Well, what you gotta look at here is that we're kind of bare minimum. We don't have anything really on the horizon.
Correct.
We're in our moratorium, and we have about 600 houses in town. And so, without anything coming, the burden lies on every citizen.
That's right.
And until that changes, I mean, it's gonna be tough. And, you know, we got a savings account. It's kind of like having a full-time expenses and a part-time job. And you just can't cut it. And first sickness, anything that happens, you're out. And that's where we don't want to get. Now, we did have a good shot in the arm with ARPA money, but we've about laid most of that out, pulled it from our funds. To get through this year, we pulled 101,000 so far, and we think that's going to do it. We pulled 272,000. Is that correct? 272,000.
No, you had 272 left of the whatever it was.
Okay, it's a 435, I believe it was. So we pulled that much last year. And so we kind of sucked that extra momentum we got out. And looking to next year, if we don't do something, we're just gonna get hit again
Bad.
with another $200,000. And so there's your general fund down. We're at, what, 616 now? So then you're down to 4. So we lose the momentum. So if we can just maintain, if we could just get into it, maintain it, and kind of let things settle out and see. But we've got to move the town forward at some point too. And I think that's where we get the moratorium off. And we've got to be able to hang on to what we got and not backslide. Try to limit it as much as possible.
Is the fund balance based off the total of both accounts? Is it based off,
So water and sewer too?
yeah, does it?
No, water and sewer fund balance is 1.3 million.
But I'm talking about the fund balance that we're, is it that percentage that the state requires? Is it based off just the general fund, or is it based off
The-
both funds?
It's unassigned fund balance, and whatever that first number, the numbers they put out is your unassigned fund balance. That's what the percentage is based off of. Because you have anything that's reserved for something else does not count towards it.
So basically, what I'm trying to figure out is 661,000 is what percentage of what number?
It's a moving target. So it's your operating expenses. So they calculate the number from your audit numbers, what it took to operate, and then what your fund balance is not assigned anywhere else. They calculate percentage from that. So if your operating funds are about the same this year as next year, it's really hard to calculate in the middle of the year. You can probably make estimates on it, but
So like when they get that 8% that we were talking about, or whatever percent, it's 8% of what?
your operating expenses.
Of operating expenses.
And that's
And is
determined
it-
by your audit.
And then operating expenses of both funds, the general?
Just general fund.
Just general fund.
Because the water and sewer funds has a whole different set of rules. You're supposed to charge rates and fees to sustain to sustain it without assistance from the general fund.
So this budget is the general fund portion requested is $1,574,968. So if we took that number and let's suppose that we had a perfectly balanced budget next year, we could take this number, divide it by that 1.5 million, and that would give us our percentage that the state is looking at.
No, because that 1.5 million is not all operating expenditures. You got Powell bill in there.
Okay.
And
Fee and lieu.
yeah, but because that would be a reserve or a restricted revenue.
So my question is trying to figure out what the mayor was talking about is what is that, if we had to use some of that money, what is the number that we don't want to get below?
Well, now, I would not want to do that first because you have to understand that if anything happens, say it's an emergency, where we have a tornado or whatever, that the town has to pay for that, even if it's a police case where that something happens and those guys spend hundreds of hours on that. Cause that's our bill.
I know, I'm just saying, what is it, so are you saying that basically you don't want to use any of that money to balance the budget?
That I'm not gonna say not any, but now just to me, that's a place we cannot keep going back to, and we would have to go back there again next year, unless we found a way to cut taxes big, because we've already said that we do not see that our income rising because we've got a moratorium.
Does anybody know what our fund balance was before the ARPA funds?
Before the ARPA funds?
It's the current number minus $272,000.
Okay.
2023 it was down.
The current number minus or plus?
I don't know, let me, I have to see what you're looking at right there.
I've got the audit here, and I've got 23 and 22. Need this.
Yes, but it doesn't tell you what of that is,
Restricted.
restricted. So there's another report in there that tells you the unassigned fund
Right.
balance. Anybody got an audit on them? You bring an audit
I
this
think
time?
I did. I think I did. Oh,
It's part of the management discussion and analysis in the front of the audit, so it's a really quick reference.
go 1 second. Ready to go. There we go.
I want one of the very first pages. After I was gobbledygook, so. Okay, at the end of the current fiscal year, unassigned fund balance for general fund was $762,296, or 51% of total general fund expenditures for the fiscal year. It says so on here how much it increased. Is this last year's audit?
Oh, we're gonna be in to make sure. It might have been the year before.
This is June 30th, 2023. I might have even remembered my numbers wrong. I might have remembered 762 is 272. But, it says that the governmental fund report ending fund balance of 1 million with an increase of 155,621 in fund balance. Approximately 40, oh, that's the quarter. Okay, so another, I'll get there in a second.
So in 2023, we had $912,000 fund balance, but we don't know what's restricted out of that.
Yeah, but
There's another report that says.
that wasn't unrestricted.
That's correct. Total. And that was up from 639 the year before, but most of that is ARPA funds, I believe. So I guess that's, is it ARPA, the COVID money?
That's what the Republican Party was saying,
That's the total.
that,
Okay, so your net change in fund balance was 272,495.
that everybody was getting bailed out.
But,
Bad
our revenue for that was,
with that ARPA money.
you got any other years on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that was a lot of money.
So you can at least go back and see what your unassigned fund balance was the year before. Do it now. You probably can't afford another chair.
Switch it out.
I hate to be slow, but take your stuff.
Well, these late hours reminded me about back in the day.
So when that?
These late hours.
The unassigned
reminded
fund
me
balance of
back
the
in
general
day.
fund.
Yeah, and I'm fixing to have to get this way, cause I've been up since 3 o'clock. I'm exhausted.
Oh, this is the year when it was so low because of,
Well,
construction in progress, but it was
What about
128,
you,
142. So you really can't,
What about
you
you?
really can't compare that because,
So what did we have
You
unrestricted
probably just
last
ready
year's?
to go in.
Unrestricted was
I've been-
762.
I just did get up this morning to go to it. I'm struggling with my back all weekend.
It's restricted, yeah.
Trying, getting sleep.
So how much was?
Right.
We had about 962, total, and 762,000 was unrestricted. That was last year's audit.
As of June 30th.
But part of that was the offering,
I would say
about
a good
300.
portion of it was the ARPA money,
There is.
if not all of it.
Well, no, I don't think, not.
The entire, I think the majority of your increase, all of it,
Because we only got like 400 and something of offering money, I thought.
right, and your fund balance increased, the net increase was 272.
All right, when are we going to meet again?
So,
Is
just
it
need
going
to
to
set
be,
public hearing for the 17th at 7.
and do we need to do it any earlier, or is that gonna be, is that gonna
That,
give us
I
enough
think
time?
that'll give us time to get what we got to get done, and hopefully we'll have everything sorted out and shoot to have it adopted that night.
Are you gonna publish it in Johnston County or Wayne County?
Probably Johnston.
Cause
Well, we're
you're
gonna
too
post
late to get it
Johnston
in
County
this week's
or
Johnstonian
Wayne
news.
County.
Johnstonian News.
So if you advertise it this week, it'll get published, what, next Wednesday? So you can't meet before 10 days from next Wednesday.
When does Wayne County run?
Those were his Argus runs a bunch of times,
We're
but
probably doing Wayne County. I'll check
Facebook
tomorrow.
runs every day.
Now,
I'll check the Wayne
17th, I
County.
may not be here, I'll be in Revival in Kingston, so.
Everybody else available on the 17th?
Maybe, yeah, should be.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'll check with Wayne County so we can get it run then. I think we can. I think it should be fine.
Now, I'll be a little bit older by then, I don't, so now I may not be able to keep them late nights after I have this next birthday.
Well, I saw you cheating on my paper over night, so you probably be fine.
Well, I want you to sing happy birthday to me tonight, Walter.
Your birthday?
This is my party.
Yeah, it is his birthday.
Birthday. All right, so we will make these changes and bring it back on the 17th.
Yep.
For meeting. And with that, do I have a motion?
There is.
There's a second.
I.
Meeting is
We.
adjourned.